Look at that. We started on time. You can tell it's not a pub quiz or an opening ceremony because we were like on the minute.
Ready to go.
I know. Hello.
Hello.
How we doing? Even though I only saw you both like 2 hours ago or whatever it was.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready.
I'm good.
Your community feedback stream is starting. Join in.
The chat. That'd be a good idea.
It would be a good idea. So we're only going to be reading Twitch chat because, as I put in Discord, we're well, 2 of us are old, and
whoa!
I'm
Speak for yourself.
using all of my. Oh, that's awkward, Nightbot. We'll be talking about that later. I haven't got time to deal with Nightbot now. Yeah, all my screen real estate is taken up by like vMix, and I am going to pause Nightbot triggers actually. So yeah, I haven't got room for Discord as well. As you know, I made the silly mistake a year or so ago to go for one big monitor instead of multiple monitors, and it's great in some ways and less great in others. Let me just turn off all the Nightbot timers. There we go. Just that can stay. That can stay. That can go. That can stay. Do I want to disable some commands as well? Yeah. Yes.
Go away, Matt.
Yes.
I haven't got time for your jokes.
That can. You're not watching Epic 46. That'll do. Yeah, that can. Just bear with me. Chat amongst yourselves. You two chat. What are you having for your dinner, Terry? I can hear you eating your dinner. So.
I'm not eating it now. I've had to stop because I don't want people watching me munch my tuna pasta salad. I'll have it later. Sam, what did you have for dinner? Chicken nuggets and chips?
I did not. I had carbonara.
Oh, right. That's I'm
very
surprised.
Nice.
Don't ring the bell. There's a bottle behind John. I don't think he can drink. That bottle is not full of alcohol. It's an old Grolsch bottle, and it's full of coins. I'm trying to fill it up. And I was doing really well, and then you can see about where COVID happened, and then we all went like cashless. I was like, I don't know how I'm ever going to fill it up again now, because I don't use coins.
Is it like specific?
I have one here.
No, it's any coins that will fit into the nozzle. So like 50p's don't
is
fit. Yeah,
massive.
like that basically.
It's actually really heavy.
But it was only 1 and 2p's.
But this is a bit of cheap vodka. Belvedere. And we're getting there. Slowly, I'd say.
Coins don't happen anymore. Anyway,
we're
off topic.
Similar process. That's fine. We're here for ages. Make the most of it.
So
that was heavy.
Right, we're gonna do introductions because the point of this is to bring us a little bit closer to the community, and some of you may not know who we are and why we're doing this stream. Sam's really quiet. Actually, his levels are down compared to the others. So whack that up a bit.
I can turn myself up if you'd like.
No, I've done it this end of it as well.
Cool.
So we'll introduce ourselves. We'll talk about what we're going to do. I have an agenda. I have a PowerPoint presentation. This is like cabinet briefing room. Next slide, please. Stuff going on. And we'll see how we go. If we don't get through it all tonight, we'll do another one. We're planning on doing more of these anyway. We're going to do an esports focused one next month. So if you're here for nitty gritty esports format, rules, scheduling stuff, we're not covering that today. But I'll tell you what we will be covering in a minute. So, I'm John. I'm not going to make the assumption that everybody watching knows who I am, because you might not. I'm Managing Director of EPIC. I started this thing 23 years ago with a previous event called Cluck, as it was back then, that kind of awkwardly merged seamlessly into EPIC, and it's no longer a hobby. It's my full-time job. We're going to talk about the whole relationship between staffing and the full-time team, and be a bit more open about that with people, because I think it's always something that we've avoided before, hence the stream. But yeah, that's me. I look after the team and coordinate stuff, and yeah, Terry, what
things?
What do you do? Who are you?
I'm Terry. I've been coming to EPIC.LAN for about 7 years, maybe. Volunteered first, then joined the team nearly 3 years ago. That's scary. Came on board to basically do events. Joined as a project manager, recently changed over to event operations manager. So just make sure that all of the external jobs we do go to plan. And then at LAN, I kind of oversee all the operations at LAN to make sure that it is on schedule, on point, set up. All the teams are okay, and just make sure the events operationally smooth during our live times. And yeah, that's it really. Just a warehouse hero too. I'll add that in there.
Sam, how about you?
Hello, I'm Sam. I've been working here for about 2 years. I'm the marketing assistant, and I like to shitpost on Twitter. So if you see any unfunny posts, that's me. If you see any funny posts, that's probably John.
Pretty much how it goes. My Blue Sky post is still doing numbers, by the way. It's still going mad.
I did not believe in Blue Sky until now.
Well, there we go. Terry is not Mike.
I'm not Mike, but everyone calls me Mike, and I'm gonna have to just take
You've
it.
accepted it now. I'm just going to rename you on the server. Like I renamed Daff last night to Deaf. Somebody put his name wrong in a tweet, so he's now Deaf. So we are 3 of the 6 members of the EPIC.LAN team who work permanently on the events as our jobs. And like I said, that's something I think in the past that we've shied away from, because EPIC.LAN did start as an entirely community volunteer thing. I don't even know now, 14, 15 years, it was my hobby. I had a real job in a real industry that wasn't putting on gaming events. And it evolved completely by accident, as I've said before. Like, other people started to ask us for support at their events, and I had the opportunity to leave my previous role without much choice, and I took that opportunity to make the leap and try and do Epic full time. And then a global pandemic hit, and I had lots of regrets. And then since then, we've bounced back. Other than the 3 of us, elsewhere in the office team, we have Dunce, who is the oldest member of the team and longest serving in the company from an employee point of view after me. Dan looks after our software development side of things, but also many other things at and around the events, like Event Power, for example, and game servers, and looks after some of our key clients in that sort of world. Dan's watching. We will be bringing Dan on for a stream at some point, because one of the things we'll talk about is things like website and booking process. We have some stuff that we can talk about today if we get time. Who else do we have in the office? I'm going to forget people. We have Gio, who may be watching. Gio is our esports operations manager, so he's a full-time member of the team who looks after all things esports, not just for EPIC.LAN events, but for a lot of our client events as well. And again, we'll talk about what Epic is outside of LAN events, because I think some people may think we're just 3 LANs a year and wonder what else we do for the rest of the time. And the last person in our sort of employee team is Jen, who some of you'll have never met at LAN. And I don't know if you ever will either. Jen's very much based at the office, and from your point of view, looks after things like processing your payments, refunds, ticket transfers, a lot of the support desk stuff that you send in between events. Jen will pick up and look after for you. Jen's the newest member of the team, sort of in the office, been with us probably 9 months or so. Not from a gaming background, somebody local to the office. But yeah, she gets shit done for us and takes it off our plate, basically. So that's the team of us that work all year round, I guess, on LAN. And we are still backed up by a team of 70 plus volunteers and members of the community who make EPIC.LAN happen. And that's something that over time has got harder to manage, I think, when we obviously have a mixture now of employees and volunteers, and that was always something that was going to be slightly contentious, but we will talk openly about finances of the events and how all of that works together later. But one thing I will say is that not a penny of people's ticket money from LAN goes to paying any of our wages. We all do stuff we all do stuff outside of events that make EPIC.LAN happen, basically, and fund everything that we do outside of LAN. So yeah, that's quick intro to us. I am going to flick to another scene, and don't press disconnect. That would be really bad. You can have our fancy PowerPoint presentation. Yes, for those people who use vMix, I'm using exactly the same vMix show as the quiz, minus the Christmas decorations and with slightly different music, because I wasn't going to. Why rewrite the wheel? So this is our agenda for this evening. Yeah. So we've done the introductions bit. We're going to explain a little bit more about us and some of the stuff we do. We are going to touch on other events that we work on. We are going to mention why we're doing Insomnia, because we did have a few people go more on the Insomnia side. Actually, I think the EPIC community was very understanding of what we're doing with Insomnia. I think the Insomnia community were very confused as to why EPIC is having anything to do with it. We're going to address that head on. We're going to talk about the financial position and some of the challenges that are facing us this year. Again, we're going to be really honest and open with you all about that. Then we're going to go through some of the community feedback. This is probably the bit that will take the longest. We've got 2 bits of feedback. We will see how far we get. We've got the EPIC 46 survey that you all did way back in October, and then we did a year-end survey. Now, we are not going to go through it line by line because there are hundreds of responses, but we've been through and we've picked out some things that we felt were interesting, some things that we want to discuss and develop further with you all, some things I've said to the team in the office that we're just going to say no to, but we'll try to explain why. I think it's important for us to still give the feedback, even if there's a reason why we can't or don't want to implement things. But at least you're then hearing it from us, so that you know we're not ignoring those comments. Like, we've considered them, we've addressed them, but we've decided not to act on those for whatever reasons. And then we'll talk about some of the future streams. But say I've touched on that for now. So today is all about community stuff, event operational stuff, not so much esports. We'll do a separate esports one. I've said we'll bring Dan in at some point to look at tech and development. Basically, in my head, we're going to do this sort of thing probably 4 or 5 times a year. I'm not going to say we're going to do this monthly, because it is a big time commitment for us. We all have day jobs. We're obviously now sort of out of hours doing this in additional time, and we have events to put on. Our priority is to focus on the events, but we do want to talk more to you guys as well, because we feel that's been missing a little bit. And in fact, us doing this is reacting to one of the comments in the end of year survey where people said they missed me streaming about stuff coming up at the event. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more of that, as our roles have slightly changed here at EPIC. So you'll probably see a bit more of me both between events and probably a bit more at events as well. I'm going to start getting a bit more involved with stage type content, coming back on for things like the opening ceremony like I used to, and yeah, so you'll probably see me around a little bit more and less hidden away behind the scenes. So that's that. Any questions? It feels like a proper presentation. Excellent. All right, so
I feel like I'm back in my interview. Going through slides. I did this slide.
You'd be doing the presentation if it was. I've just realised this is off-centre and it's really bugging me, but never mind. Can't fix it now. Ignore it. Move on. I wanted to talk about the other 49 weeks of the year that we're not doing EPIC.LAN, which then leads into that whole sort of Insomnia piece as well. So for those who don't know, some of you will, some of you may have absolutely no idea what EPIC.LAN does behind the scenes. We run 6 EPIC.LAN events a year. So we do the 3. Is the bell broken? No, the bell works absolutely fine if you want me to. It's there. It's ready. It's always ready. But I will be sipping water or my hot chocolate. Yeah, so EPIC.LAN puts on 6 events a year. We do 3 events in Kettering, 3 smaller events. We go on about those all the time, but as well as the big events, we do little tabletop and mini LANs for 40 people, and we also do Lux, which, let's all face it, is our favourite event of the year because we get to stay in a hotel but have a LAN party. And Lux and tabletop are just as much a part of the EPIC.LAN suite of events as the main events. They're events that we enjoy, they attract a different audience, but we do that as well. When we're not doing that, we are an events and production agency. We focus on gaming and esports events, and that means that we end up at lots and lots of other people's events throughout the year. We have been doing EGX for about 14 years, I think, or something mad like. No, since 2014. So EGX bring us in to run things like their LAN zone, to do PC hire, to do their arena stage. We get brought in to do networking for other people's events. We do broadcast productions. One of our biggest clients is the platform that we're streaming on now. So we do a heck of a lot of work for Twitch through their brand partnership studio. We have a contract with Ubisoft to run Rainbow Rumble, which is their Northern Europe Tier 2 scene. What else are some of the big things we work on? We work on RuneFest. It was announced today, so I could mention RuneFest. We work with the Jagex team on RuneFest, so we put on the 200-player LAN zone at RuneFest 2025. So they're one of our clients. We do random bits of PC hire for small private parties. We do console hire for kids' parties. Terry loves those. They're his absolute favourite.
No, I end up having to chase people around for Switch controllers.
It was his favourite.
Yeah,
Go on.
Well, yeah, we do loads of stuff like that. It's racing rig hire. We try and do some local stuff for community centres to give, I suppose, children access to services that this particular community centre offer, and try and work. We're trying to do more stuff locally because at the moment we just do lots of stuff everywhere else, but nothing close to where we are. So be focusing more on that kind of thing this year. We get a lot of requests of, can you do this? And then John goes, yeah, we can do that. And then we go, well, how the hell are we going to do that then? And then we come up with a plan and we just kind of make it happen. So yeah, you do get some weird requests, and you get some really exciting ones. Like I think RuneFest for us last year was a really exciting one to get into, especially when they hadn't done an event for so long. So to get stuck into that and see what that was about was definitely eye-opening. I went on many a quest with OT to complete all the challenges and get all my little chips. So that was quite fun.
Glad you were busy.
I was very busy.
Going around getting the skill chips at the end.
Yeah.
We also, outside of events, we also have a software development side to the business. So we run a tournament platform. That tournament platform is used. Many of you will have experienced our tournament platform. It's used in the British esports schools and colleges champs. It's used for NSE for all of their weekly matches. It's used by Ubisoft. It's used by other esports federations like Esports Wales and Ireland Esports. Each implementation looks different, but ultimately beneath the hood, it is our tournament platform in many of those places. We also do broadcast production for those people as well. So like NSE finals last year in Manchester, we ran for them. British Esports Champs finals up in Sunderland, we ran for them. So that's why we are a 365-day-a-year business outside of EPIC.LAN events. Now, I guess the context there is all of that stuff that we do essentially funds EPIC.LAN. We'll talk. I'm going to share some very raw numbers from Epic 47 with you. In fact, I've updated them, Terry, so you won't even know the number I'm going to show unless you've looked at the slide.
Do I want to?
No. All of the the income from a lot of those things enables EPIC.LAN. So as much as we try to run EPIC.LAN on a break-even basis, we don't run it for profit. You can believe us or not. Again, I'm going to show you a slide in a bit that shows it. But the other stuff that we do generates the income, and sometimes that pays for the kit that we invest into Epic. So a lot of the stage broadcast production type stuff that we do, the kit for that has come from all of those other events that we do, like the fancy tube lights that surrounded Mr. Greggle's last event, for example, were paid for by 3 or 4 other events last year, but then Epic gets the benefit of being able to use that stuff for better. So, and then effectively, like I say, none of our salaries are charged to the event. So as a team, we essentially donate our time to make EPIC.LAN happen. It's probably about, I don't know, 1/3 to 50% of our workload, but none of the income to pay for that. So that's, I guess, the background. And ultimately, that is why we are doing Insomnia. As an example, again, quite openly, we are doing Insomnia as a service provider. I've been very clear about that. We are not a partner, we're not a sponsor, we're not in any way involved in the organising of the event. We just have kit and expertise that, like all of those other events I've now just told you about, Insomnia came to us and went, well, you've got enough networking kit to put on a gaming event because not many people in the country have. Our PC, I don't know if it's clear and obvious, but the PCs that you can rent at Insomnia alongside your LAN ticket are our PCs, so you will be using EPIC.LAN PCs at Insomnia. Just like you would be using EPIC.LAN PCs if you go to EGX. So that's why we're doing Insomnia. Any income that we generate protects EPIC.LAN, allows us to keep growing EPIC.LAN, and it makes sure that we are still here to put on the community events. Quite simply. If we didn't do it, somebody else will. And the reality is, the better events do in the UK, the better we all do. What we don't want is failure events that then make the landscape challenging for all of us. We had some of those last year. I'm not going to name them because they'll probably take legal action against me. But when events fail, it shatters confidence in the entire industry and it makes it very, very difficult for us. I'm talking to game devs at the moment, for example, about coming along to Epic, and they were burnt at some other events. I've been really careful. They were burnt at some other events last year. So when I'm then talking to them about our event that's existed for 23 years that isn't going anywhere, they go, yeah, but we went to this other event last year and it was a bit of a disaster. We're not sure about it. So it's in everybody's interest for Insomnia to be a success. And yes, the obvious question, have we been paid? Yes, anything that we've invoiced Insomnia for already, they have already paid us. They've paid the deposit up front. Yes, we're making sure that we're going to get paid for it. Our contract terms are very clear. They've agreed to them because they want to make sure that it works. So that's it. That's as far as I'm going to go with Insomnia. I'm not going to give my personal opinions on the event for a change. We all need to make it work. And that's why we're a part of it. We're providing a technical service in exchange for money, nothing else. We're not around the table. That's blunt and honest. Insomnia out of the way. That said, just while we're talking Insomnia, it does mean a lot to Terry and I in particular, because we're both old school Insomnia attendees. My first LAN party was I8, so I kind of also don't want to see it fail. From a personal perspective, then there we go.
John loves it.
I met your mum at Insomnia.
She's in the chat.
Is she?
She is in the chat.
Good. But that's the point, though.
She was in the chat.
We have a history of Insomnia being successful, so there we go. All right, that's that. Any questions on it? There are no. Dunce is an ex-Insomnia volunteer as well. Yeah. All right, that's that bit done. We're now going to move on to talking about EPIC.LAN after the first bit of waffle. I have maybe a surprise. It's not a surprise slide, but I'm being super open and transparent. Now, one of the things that confuses me a little bit with the LAN community is there is this expectation that LAN operators are fully open and transparent and share everything. And businesses don't always do that. And we don't always do that. I've chosen to tonight. I think because LANs traditionally have started from like bedroom community orgs, there is this sort of community expectation that every little minor detail about the business and how it's run is being shared. And we can't always, but we'll give it a go. So, Epic 46 that happened in October, our biggest event yet. It made a final loss by the end of the event of £1,469 nice pounds. And that is without any of our staff costs attributed to that event. Like I said, we pay for our wages through other projects externally. So the event makes a loss, and that is not uncommon for our events to make a loss. 1k loss, not bad, but it's also not like mega huge profit. We're never going to make anyway. Bear with me, I'm a little sniffly at the moment. It's not ideal because that money has to come from somewhere, and any loss is bad because that's money that we could be putting into improving the event. For example, that means we've got to go off and work harder on other projects when we could we could be buying more PCs, for example, for rentals if we weren't making a loss. Is anyone that shocked that a gaming event is making a loss in 26? Probably not, but a lot of other gaming events run intentionally to make a loss because they have a marketing objective, for example. So Riot will put on esports events that will make a loss on the practical event, but they will then make their money through in-game sales. We don't have that. Like we don't have to necessarily do that. We choose to keep doing this. And I guess ultimately, if we stop doing EPIC.LAN events, everything else we do in the background would still continue. But we don't want to. I guess the point I'm trying to make is we keep doing the LAN events because we love doing it. It's where we started. It's 23 years of my life, which is a big chunk of my life. That's literally half of my life. Literally is actually this week. Shit.
What's that? Your birthday?
No, it's not. I can't do maths. It's more than half my life. Yes. Anyway, whatever. My point was, it makes a loss. I'm going to read some of the chat in a minute. I'll finish this slide, and then there are some good points coming in, so I'm going to scroll back and address some of the points. Yes, we will come on to that one. In terms of how the event is funded, when we first started doing this, 100% of the income to fund the events came from ticket sales. Again, big surprise number for you. EPIC.LAN costs over £100,000 to put on. So we are not talking little village hall money here. The entire event and everything that goes on in there, from hiring the venue to security to catering to transport to, I don't know what I've said, security, furniture hire,
lights, stage,
power distribution, is over £100,000 to put that event on. So we're talking big money. And you can, from that, you can now work out some of the other maths that I've done on the slide. Let's see how good you all were at your GCSE maths. There was a point in time when the event was much smaller where they would be 100% paid for by ticket sales. And again, being entirely honest, our July event, which is not using the bigger part of Kettering, just using the conference area, and Lux do pay for themselves based on ticket sales alone. But the bigger events, they don't. 49% of your ticket sales, well, your ticket sales make up 49% of the income these days, or certainly did for the case of EPIC 46. The next biggest proportion of income for EPIC 46 was partnerships. So the sponsors like Intel, Asus, Overclockers, XP, and other smaller exhibitors. That makes up 32%, so a big chunk of the event income. The shop at the event went from, I think Kane, who's in chat, will probably remember, when at Bagnall Village Hall, it was just a little metal trolley that had a few crates and an honesty box on there. It's kind of grown quite significantly now. But the shop does a decent chunk towards putting on the cost of the event. And then additional services is things like PC hire, chairs, indoor sleeping that we had to introduce the charge for last year, camping, that sort of thing. So all the things that you can bolt onto your ticket are what we class as the additional services. I think some people seem surprised at that. I'm just going to quickly pause there and come on to the next point in a second. I'm just going to scan through. I thought TOs make millions. Yeah, nah. Will this be an answer in the next EPIC.LAN pub quiz? Probably be in Daft's round. If you're answering questions from the chat, sorry, only just arrived. Remember, you meeting up with local council members to talk to the benefits of EPIC.LAN for Kettering. Much like the comic industry right now, who's seeking funds and help. Is there any funding or proposals from the government to help fund events like these to lessen the losses? What do you think? Without turning this into the politics channel, no. Ultimately, the government seems to have very little interest in esports. The trade body for gaming and esports seems to have very little interest in esports, which is a little bugbear of mine, because we don't even feature esports as an industry. And I know this event is more about esports, but esports is the one that the government are more likely to hear and listen to and sit in their mind. Yuki didn't have a single mention of esports in their annual plan for the year, which is great. Local council, we try to speak to them. We've actually worked out the economic value that EPIC.LAN has brought to a little town of Kettering over the duration of our lifetime in there. And it's a figure in the millions. We've worked out like ticket income, the amount, like we've attributed a spend per head for people in the local area. We've looked at hotel spend in the area, and we have literally brought millions to the town of Kettering over the last few years. We could take that income to another town who may want us more, but it's still trying to talk gaming and esports at a public level in the UK is kind of pointless at the moment. We've even looked at some grant applications recently and got them shot down because they weren't necessarily innovative or growth. And this was to do some cool stuff locally to us. Like we put in a really cool proposal to do something in Crewe, which Jesus needs some life injecting into it, and it got turned down probably for a footpath or something. Sorry, so you got me started now. Politics channel. Terrible.
You can stop yourself.
I know. People often do that because they go 700 tickets times entry cost, therefore you make loads of money. They don't have any thought about the huge expenses that go with putting on an event. I was going to do another part to this slide, which is the expenses, just so people got a feel for the sort of thing that costs money. But like the venue is our biggest expense, unsurprisingly, followed by the AV company that also does all of the power distribution and the big curtain that goes down. That big curtain that goes down the middle, that we put into dampen the sound and to hide the stage from the rest of the LAN, which I don't think people realise sometimes how much impact that has on the sound dampening when you walk past it, because it's big, heavy, thick surge wall. That curtain, every event, is $2,500 for us to put in, just to try and kill the sound a little bit and make the atmosphere better for you all. Mad. Yeah, anyway, security costs are in there. Security's always going up. Last event, October, we had to add in more security because people don't follow the rules about not bringing alcohol into the event, so the venue made us have an extra security guard to help lessen that. So again, actions that you guys have created have cost more for everybody because of not following the rules, and so little things like that are not helping to make the event any more cost effective. Anyway, surprised the shop is only 10%. Yeah, but it's 10% of a chunky number if you do the maths on the other numbers I gave you, and it's also not profit either because we have to actually buy the stuff to sell on the shop. That was probably our biggest shop sales ever, by the way. And people need to buy more Gump calendars and bananas. Yes. Can you do another casual CS2 tournament? We're not talking esports today. We're going to do a completely separate stream on esports in a couple of weeks where I'm going to get Geo and Gump in to talk esports. But hi, Wimbar Terry's mum. There you go. Cheers to the chat. That was not cool by Yuki. Don't get me started. Well, I already got started. Every time John goes off on a tangent, Sam has to draft the apology tweet. It'll be me writing it. I have to deal with it. Thank you, AV company saves PC from shortcutting.
Cancel curtain, make a profit.
Even that, we are looking at that because anyway, long story. Right. What was I going to say on this? So, how at capacity are you with the big EPIC.LAN events? Is there a chance to outgrow the venue? Plenty of rooms to expand to. We can grow. We can get more people into the Kettering space, and the more people we get in and the more rooms we use, the more cost effective it is, because using more space doesn't mean doubling the infrastructure. We've got a lot of the stuff there and we can just expand into it. Our October event does use a lot of the spaces, but we still didn't quite sell out. If we ever get to the point where we're consistently selling out, then yes, maybe we'd look at other venues. But other venues bigger than that place get really, really expensive. So this is the honesty, truth bit that I want to make people aware of going into this next event, because as you will see, 32% of the last event came from our partnerships. If you go on the EPIC.LAN website right now, you will notice the absence of two names that we had there for the last quite a long period of time. You will see at the top of the EPIC.LAN website there is no Intel logo, there is no Asus logo as it stands right now. I'm going to cover this openly and honestly with all of you. We do not right now have those two very big partners supporting the next event, which is a huge huge. Trump, imagine Trump noise, like Trump. Huge.
Please give it a go.
No,
please try and do it.
Absolutely not.
No fun.
We do not have those two people going, two partners going into this event, which is sad. We've not done anything wrong. They still like us. We're still friends. But things globally that aren't are public knowledge, if you have a look at what Intel are doing with marketing globally, they've essentially outsourced their marketing to an agency. And as of the end of last year, the team at Intel have no idea how event marketing is going to work or who's even responsible for it this year. So we're not even in a position to have that conversation with Intel yet. They're going to try, but it certainly won't be in time for this event, if at all, because it's a new agency. They will spend their money in their own way. So as it stands, we don't have that. Intel was our headline partner to, again, quite bluntly, in terms of who paid the most, Intel was the most, hence it being EPIC.LAN with Intel as the branding. They were, we almost call the presenting partner of the event. So that's painful, as is Asus. Again, Asus, nothing wrong in particular, just the way Asus timing and budgets work. They don't actually get their budget till the end of January, which has always been very tight for renewal, and where EPIC.LAN lands this year, there is no way that they will be able to sort something necessarily to the same scale as before. So that's where we're currently at. Overclockers have obviously renewed. XP Pro Eyewear are continuing as our two sort of long-term partners. Part of our changes of role here since December, I've now picked up a lot of those partnership conversations. But I can already see chat doing the thing that really bugs me, which is just get this brand as a sponsor. And I can tell from the people saying that you've never had to deal with sponsorship sales or advertising sales on this sort of level before, because it ain't that easy. It took me roughly 3 or 4 years of building the relationship with Intel to get to the point where they sponsored Epic on this sort of scale. It's a heck of a lot of relationship building, but also we're a small event. DreamHack is happening in March.
Yep, end of March.
DreamHack, in their sponsor deck, because I've seen it, have an estimated footfall of 50,000 people going to the event, which is what marketers and advertisers want to see. We have 1,000. So to try and pitch our event when you've got the likes of DreamHack, which are big footfall events, is really hard. And these brands want to see big numbers. We don't have big numbers. We were lucky with Intel and Asus that they wanted to do a lower level, more community integrated thing, not mega footfall numbers. But a lot of the brands, the marketing teams just want to see a huge fat number at the end of it, which yeah. So look, that's where we're at. Well, you see again this point, but you should advertise more. This comes up a lot in the survey. We sell out nearly every event, so I'm not even sure it's an advertising more thing. And there is a general LAN decline globally. People don't want to go to LANs as much anywhere. DreamHack is another great example. DreamHack in the day back in Sweden used to be 10,000 people. The last DreamHack I went to in Sweden was about 2,000 people. So those numbers are declining, and we are growing. So we are, in LAN number terms, we're going in the opposite direction to everybody else anyway. But one of the things we generally struggle with these days is that communities don't exist in one place like they used to in the old days of LANs when we were all focused around forums or IRC. Things like Discord, as much as they've been great, have divided everybody into lots and lots of smaller, hard to reach private communities. So EPIC.LAN has almost become a community of communities rather than its own thing. So there is no single place where gamers hang out anymore that we can just advertise to. It's a combination of web, SEO, social media, Reddit, in-person stuff. We've been going to more other people's events to try and talk about Epic, sponsoring some smaller events ourselves to try and get word out there. But we're beyond the days where you can just post on a single gaming forum and go, come to Epic, and then 10,000 people would see it, I'm afraid. it's tough. So yeah, that's the current happy news, right? To try and offset some of that, obviously you'll have seen our demo area that we're introducing at the next event. So rather than, or as well as me trying to work on finding bigger partners to come and support the event in the same way, we've started having smaller spaces, things like indie developers and smaller retails who can have a very affordable space at our event. Again, it's not big footfall for them. They're not going to sell loads. And ultimately what you have to think about is how many products those exhibitors or sponsors would have to sell to cover the cost of being at the event. Imagine how many CPUs Intel would have to justify internally for the amount they spend on EPIC, which you don't know, but they'd have to sell a lot. And how do you attribute that? So we've started doing the smaller demo areas. We haven't announced everything yet that is signed. There is more to come. We're going to be drip feeding more announcements. We have a couple more indie devs signed up. We have some random different hardware companies. One pretty cool one confirmed today that Terry saw the email for, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, we're going to have a few smaller ones. We've been sent some samples today from a pretty interesting company that the three of us have all taken samples home for, that we're trying to get on board. And again,
you took them
hopefully we
home?
can. Yeah, I was going to show them on stream, but they haven't paid yet, so no, I won't.
I've left mine. Oh, I didn't bring mine home.
I brought one home to try, and I have tried it.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm excited.
No, actually, genuinely, I think this would be a really good brand to have at Epic. Because anyway, I can't. But my point is, we're trying to get more smaller things, which then in turn hopefully gets more footfall to the event. It gets more spectators there because there's things for spectators to do who are coming along and visiting. Whereas at the moment our event isn't very spectator focused because we are LAN. What I will say is we are not going to become an expo. So we are bringing in small brands that are relevant to the event and are selling or demonstrating things that we think are interesting to you as a community. What we're not having is AI art, Temu dropshipping, body pillows, Minecraft
Squishies.
swords, the shit that fills some events to fill spaces.
Why no Minecraft swords?
I am not interested in that. We are, and I will always maintain this, and I'll be stubborn about this. We're a LAN party first. It's things that complement the event for all of you, not things to sell space for the sake of selling space. I'm not interested in that, or unlicensed products, or all of that sort of stuff.
I feel like the stuff we've currently looked at bringing and what we're hoping to bring to the event will give all of our participants new stuff to go and look at, but also interact with people that you wouldn't necessarily normally get to interact with. So obviously for you guys that's exciting, and for them that's exciting as well, getting the feedback from people that actually care. You know, you're there for a reason, and a lot of the community here get involved with what we're doing and what we got on show. So hopefully, these people that will be coming and attending and showing off what they do will get some decent interactions with you guys, and actually enjoy the time instead of it being a kind of corporate thing for them. It's more of a chill out, get to know you all, similar to some of the relationships you guys have with our previous partners. So hopefully, we're doing a good thing here and you guys will enjoy it. I
do potentially have one bigger one-off, one event exhibitor and sponsor as well, that it's the contract is with their legal team, which would be something that I think a lot of people at the event will like to experience and try out. That should fill a nice gap in the exhibitor area as well, but I won't and can't talk about that till it's announced. X2 says the stream is a pretty good example of advertising itself. There have been countless tweets and messages sent to the Discord server for a couple of weeks now. There's 1,000 people in the server. Don't know how many people follow the X account. There are 70 people here. Actually, I was really surprised pleasantly that we hit about 70 or so people at the start of the stream, because this is better numbers than we'd normally get when we just do the sort of more closed Discord thing. So the move of this to Twitch was definitely the right approach. Would you look at doing a small Saturday type market with local vendors of random stuff to sell? Yes, we are trying to reach out to local businesses as well. One of the devs that we will be announcing in the next week or so is Northampton based, which is quite nice. But my my comment on not selling TAT remains in place. So it would have to be legit stuff and relevant stuff, and not just there for the sake of being there. Retail stuff is tough though, because again, you'd have to look at the cost of the stand, and the person would have to make more profit than the cost of the stand, despite it being super cheap. So sometimes the volumes that people would need to sell, not just to cover the cost of the stand, but if they're a local business, they probably have their own shop, for example, on a Saturday. What do they do with that? Do they have to bring in cover? Do they close it, etc.? But one of the reasons we are trying to focus on some more local businesses, because it then brings the cost of travel and hotels down for those exhibitors as well. Can we get a stall that exclusively sells Weezer merch for Sam B Dubs?
No.
Nope. Okay. That's a no. I did say we'd give you an honest no when we met no.
It's a hard no from me.
It just keeps getting delivered to the office. It's fine.
It does. Please stop sending me Weezer CDs to the office. It's terrifying when I come into when I get in the morning and there's a package on my desk, and it doesn't even say to Sam, it says to Sam B Dubs. So I know someone's ordered me something, and it's always Weezer CDs. Please stop.
Hope the indie games are bringing Steam keys to give out as giveaways. There'll be either demos or betas, or maybe some keys. It depends. Again, they've got to. A lot of the time with indie devs, it's about them wanting to get the games wish listed, and you do ultimately buy them and support them. But they are planning, certainly Contact Protocol that we spoke to so far, which thanks to Roos, by the way, who's in chat for introducing those guys to us. They have some interesting plans, but ultimately they want you to buy their game and support them. On that, I guess Roos has obviously referred those guys to us. We have 4,000 people in our Discord, many thousands on our social medias. If people have contacts, I'm sure you all do. Let's crowdsource the heck out of this and help us out a little bit. As much as I'm trying, and as a team, we're doing a lot of research and looking around and sending out decks all over the place. But if any of you have contacts directly for businesses that may want to be involved in an event like Epic, where they basically get to spend 4 days chatting to you as a community and very subtly selling, then drop us a message with their contacts, shoot us an intro, and I'll pick it up from there. It would be massively appreciated, and it will help keep the event going. And it'll make it more interesting for all of you. In regards to merch, there was some cool merch stuff. Epic 45 mat, Blue One limited edition, perfect for signatures. Would we be able to get any more of that? Or getting some commission to put on mouse mats or shirts? We currently have a brief out with merchandise providers to relaunch all of our merch, because we're not very good at it. We're all really fashionable, as you can tell, and we've decided that we need some help with merch. So we've put a brief out to merch providers, designers, creatives, to take on our merch for us, come up with a proper strategy, regular launch schedule, one-off specials, people who understand merch way better than we do, to help us out with that process. So that is currently, it won't take effect for Epic 47 because of the turnaround times on these things, but we have recognized it's an area that we can do better at. So we are bringing in people. Terry did say he'd send it to you. Did he not send it? You said you were going to send the brief to your mum.
I said, how about I send it to Clan Shirts? And you said, blimey. So
I said, that's a throwback.
Yeah, I can send it. That's fine.
Hawaiian shirt one. Actually, I think that'd be a good shout for summer to have an epic Hawaiian shirt. I can see everybody rocking that at the pub quiz.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. See, you've got ideas.
I do have some good ideas, just not many. Right. Are we happy with that? Shall we move on to the next slide and start talking some of the feedback? I just wanted, because people have been tweeting and when are Intel renewing and that sort of stuff. As it stands, they won't be. I hope they will be in the future. I'm talking to as many brands as possible, but yeah, hard sell, and I would rather address it. My biggest concern is I've not had to buy socks in about 4 years, and now I've got to actually buy socks.
Oh, you could buy them at Asda with Dan.
I feel bad because the water bottle that I'm going to subtly drink, it's do I turn it around and face the logo the other way now? We're still friends. I literally spoke to Intel today because we had an agreement to share some of the feedback with them, hence the Intel questions in the feedback. So I'm actually feet. I am wearing my Intel socks. There you go. That's all you get without subscribing to my OnlyFans.
That's how we're going to fund LAN.
Things you weren't expecting to hear on stream. Right, moving on. Next slide, please. We're going to talk feedback. I am going to share something with you all that I don't think I have ever. Also, with the topic, I didn't keep reading it. Also, with the topic about referring more stuff, I'm looking to delve more into the games industry. Cool. Basically, that's Roost said he's going to send other people our way. I've also rejoined the UK games industry Slack, which has a heck of a lot of devs in there. We are starting to go to other events to talk to them as well. It's just timing and the cost of attending some of these events. Like Terry went to Develop last year in Brighton, which was really, really worthwhile. However, this year it clashes with Epic 48, so we're not going to be able to get there. But yes, do share, do talk about us. Right. Time and all of that. We've spent a lot of time talking about context. We're going to dip into some of the feedback from previous events, and I am going to share something that we have never shared with you before, which I was a little bit nervous about sharing because you never know if your competitors are watching this sort of thing. And I'm never sure whether I'm sharing too much, but this...
I feel the next slide is like, that's a secret slide.
You reckon?
Yeah, I feel. I'm not against it. Like, it's good for people to see how and what they do affects this outcome.
I'm sharing it.
You know, because it is interesting to see when you think that you've done, like, you know, you've put extra effort into a certain task for the next event, and then your score comes back less of the event before. It's like, oh man, come on now. So, what's happened here?
We have, we do a heck of a lot with customer service and feedback analysis. It might be a bit blurry. The point is kind of there. We've been doing our surveys going back to 2017 in this format. We did them even before that in a different format, but they've been consistently using the same sort of tool since then. By the way, the number in brackets on the left is the number that the score's out of. So you'll notice that when we get to venue, they're all like star ratings out of 5. It's not that the score suddenly dropped below that point. It's just everything from venue down is a star rating out of 5 rather than out of 10. Don't know why we did it that way, but we always have. We now have consistency and we can track things up and down. If we change it now, then it would mess up all the scores. Basically, the metrics that we have in our user survey are tracked and we compare them all side by side. Every event, so we can look at trends going up and down. My point is we look at everything that people do send in. I think sometimes people make the assumption that they just fill out the survey and we're just doing it as a tick box exercise. My background has always been in service industries. I was public sector and charitable sector before I went full-time in EPIC, where customer feedback and surveys and customer care it's back in the days when public sector was actually about high quality of service, not backhanders and joining reform. So I've always had that ethos of like really giving a shit about customer feedback, but doing it in a very analytical way. Love me a spreadsheet. So the top row of this, for example, is our Net Promoter Score. NPS is the main measure that we use as a measure of customer loyalty and success. It's the very first question you answer in the survey. In fact, it's the one in the email that you click on before you actually get into the survey. You know, the one where you go, oh, this looks like it's only one question, I'll answer that, and then we've got you, and then you have to fill out the rest. So this is that very first question that even if people abandon the rest of the survey, they do the NPS one. And this is the question that says, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much would you recommend EPIC.LAN to a friend, colleague, etc.? The thing in the body of the email. NetPS is a really brutal score, by the way. Basically, you only get a positive rating with NPS if you tick a 9 or a 10. So sometimes if you've ever bought something like a car and they've said, oh, we'd really appreciate it if you give me a 9 or a 10, that's because NPS only really cares about 9s and 10s. The bit in the middle it doesn't care about, but then 0 to 6 punishes you in NPS. So to get a high NPS score, people have got to be super loyal and giving you the really high numbers. NPS is then calculated from minus 100 to plus 100. So an average of 59 is actually really, really good from an NPS point of view. Lots of service businesses would love to be up there with an NPS of 59. By the way, our B2B NPS is 93 for everything we do outside of EPIC.LAN. So this is what I was talking about in terms of service and the focus on quality for what we do. So that's the first thing. Beyond that, it's then just all the other areas of the event that get broken down, like catering, bar, shop, product range, venue, cleanliness, camping, technical stuff, website booking system, social stuff, big games, atmosphere, content, the dark room, esports, content, esports admins, Twitch coverage, staffing, etc. Loads and loads of metrics that we then track. And these two can back me up that this is literally printed off and pinned in my office for me to see all the time. It's on my whiteboard in the office as the NPS for you. I don't have it for any other areas of the business. It's for all of you as the community, as the reminder for what we're working towards. And it's a bit up and down, but the trend is pretty consistent. You can almost draw a horizontal line throughout that. We have some good events, we have some bad events. Sometimes the survey is really swayed by not many of you filling it out. We have nearly 1,000 people through the doors. Sometimes we get 40 people filling out the survey, which makes our job really hard because we have to guess what you want rather than using your actual feedback. But there we go. That's the analytical, quantitative bit that we do around your surveys every event. I obsess over this sort of stuff. I read every survey. One thing I have stopped doing lately, though, is reading your survey comments straight away. I used to sit in the bar straight after the event, scrolling through them on my phone and getting pissed off that there were things that I didn't like in there. I now intentionally leave it for 2 weeks while we do all of the other wrap-up stuff, then come back to it, and I process it in a far more calm and collected and methodical way. That's one part of the survey process. The other part is that we then take all of your comments. Now, the survey is random in itself, but then I also further randomize the comments by putting them into a spreadsheet that these guys all hate because the comments as you read across the row don't necessarily relate to each other, but I do my best to randomize it and make sure that you can't try and work out who's saying things based on the lines that they have written, because sometimes people do put things in the survey that makes it really, really obvious who they are. So I try and jumble it all up a little bit, and then I share that with the LAN team, so the staff team, the LAN team, including the volunteer team, some managers and team leaders, and then we also share relevant points with the venue as well. So a couple of weeks after each event, we extract anything to do with the venue, so around cleaning, catering, because the catering is the venue responsibility, not ours, incidentally. That all gets shared off with the venue. We have a meeting with them, we discuss it, and we look what to improve. That previous slide, if I go back one, you probably won't see it because it's blurry, but all of those key themes have an owner attached to them. That owner then has a look at the action plans to try and improve and work on those things. So what, I guess, is the point. These numbers don't necessarily mean much on their own. What we need then is your comments that go with those, and the comments help us to understand how we can improve those scores. We're now going to spend the next half hour, maybe longer, we'll see how we're doing for time, chatting through some of the comments that came back for the last few surveys. I've picked a load out that we're interested in, positively and negatively. We're going to address them, we're going to see if there's other suggestions for how to improve them, or we're going to tell you what we're already working on if we've got a plan. So I'm starting with bar and catering because this is Terry's favourite topic. Now, these are venue-owned issues, so they are entirely the responsibility of the venue, but we work really, really closely with them. Probably better than we've ever done before in terms of the relationship with the venue, especially since they nearly closed down. I think the venue appreciate us far more than ever. We are one of their biggest customers, and Terry pretty much has a call daily with KCC, KLV these days, to keep on top of the feedback and improvements. And bar and catering is something we've worked so hard on the last few events, especially getting the venue to let go of doing the catering in-house and bring in the food trucks that now give you some variety and get the event far better. I've already seen comments in the chat about Tim the Coffee Man, for example. Again, local business, by the way. He lives on the estate next to Kettering, and he's my biggest source of gossip, so watch what you're saying to Tim because he tells me everything.
You can't trust him.
But good coffee.
And he now provides the arcade in the AM prize for the winner. You get a little coffee if you come top of the leaderboard. So that's
right.
Also nice for him to do.
let's quick-ish fire through these. Bar running out of stock. Last event, just so everybody has some context here, was the busiest ever event in bar sales that the venue has had. The Saturday night of the last event, busiest ever, and that includes beating the first event back post-COVID. We don't know what happened, but you guys literally drunk the bars dry last event. It wasn't a lack of ordering. It wasn't the venue cutting back on their order. We don't know what happened, but you lot completely drunk the bars dry of products that wouldn't normally sell out as well. I don't know, Terry, if you've got anything. Obviously, the venue track their sales. I assume they will adjust their ordering. They know our ticket numbers.
So the thing is as well, with their stock, it's all sale and return. So they actually order a little bit more than what they actually need to make sure that they run out. So for the fact is that if they don't sell it, they can send it back. So for them to order their percentages more than what we needed, and for them to run out of certain products was pretty bloody impressive. So, yeah, and they're constantly ordering. So on a Friday, they'll be ordering for the Saturday. So yeah, they're doing exactly what they need to do to just keep that stock level stocked up.
So yeah, the venue will react to that. They will order accordingly. They have the numbers, just like we do with our own shop, where we work out an amount that we sell per person. They will manage those stock levels as best they can. However, what I will say is there is a limit to how much the venue can over-order as well. I said this in Discord earlier. They're not a pub. They're not a bar that is open 7 days a week, so that when we leave, they can stock more. I'll just sell it to the next event that's in. So they can't manage their stock in the same way that we can. The cellars are pretty limited. Again, it's not like Wetherspoon-sized cellars. There's only so many barrels that they can physically fit in. Some things they can't get over the weekend, so if we run out of the ales and the ciders, that's tough. They've tried before. But yeah, they will try their best. I like this one. I thought this was an interesting one. Hot food later in the evenings after the pub quiz / bingo. I think it runs till 10 at the moment, right?
Food's 10:30, 11, depending. So we say it closes at 10:30, but the food barn will stay open till 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And I do give them constant updates on what is happening inside, to see if we're going to have, if something's on. If we've got a dark room, for example, on, and that isn't going to finish till 11 o'clock, they will stay open slightly later. But they are back at 6 a.m. preparing for breakfast. So, their cut off ideally is 11 p.m.
There we go. I think I would say to people, don't necessarily. So we put 10 o'clock on the website to manage people's expectations, because what we don't want to say is it's later and then they're quiet, so they've closed early. Just go out and have a look, see if they're still open ultimately. And I guess one thing you do have with EPIC.LAN events that you don't necessarily have at other LAN events is you can still bring in your own food too. We don't stop you getting a Mackey's ordered in or a pizza. You have the ability to order in 24-hour food at EPIC.LAN events, unlike certain other events. Bar running out of stock, by the way. I don't know if people, we've not officially announced this. Last event we did the experiment where the Saturday we open till 3 a.m. We're doing the same on Friday this event as well. So Friday and Saturday at Epic 47, the bar will be open till 3 a.m. So
Yay.
After the pub quiz, you can keep drinking till 3 a.m. Basically, what people were saying was that would be really cool on the Saturday because we don't have to get up on. So we don't have to drive the next day, so why don't we have the later bar night on the Friday as well? So there you go. News to all of you. Food quality versus food price versus options available. This wasn't a specific comment. This was me just going, there's lots of comments about pricing, quality, and options available. So, Terry, okay. You love food.
Okay, so as we know, Kettering is quite a small place, and they don't have that many options. We have probably extinguished nearly 99% of food catering options that are available in Kettering to come and do our events as a one-day kind of drop-in, as such, as which we started to call them. So we do try and circulate them. We do try and get new ones in, but at the same time, we try and do as much research as possible for these coaches we have, because if we haven't worked with them before, we're kind of expecting them to deliver what we're expecting from what we get from the others. So when we do get new caterers in, it can be quite challenging to make sure that they're kind of what you guys are going to be expecting. The hog roast, yeah, banging. Tried to contact Spudman, I've had no luck, so we've given up on that one. But again, with options like that, salad options and sandwich options and stuff, it's been really tough to try and find a lunch van or a sandwich van that can come round. So have we implemented that for this event?
Sandwiches?
Yeah. The meal deal thing.
Maybe, probably.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I have now,
we're going to try and implement the meal deal process from the shop where you get sandwich, crisps and a drink, for instance, just for that healthier, not fast food lunch that people might be after. There's pasta boxes and stuff too. So you're not having burgers for lunch and dinner. But we are trying to mix it up as best as possible and get the coupons to return. So yeah, pizza will be back for 46.
It's a bit of a numbers and footfall game with caterers, just like it is with sponsors as well in many cases, in that a lot of these caterers are busy doing other events at weekends, and they could go to a football match, or not too far down the road there's a pretty big race circuit where some of these catering vans could be doing tens of thousands of people events. So sometimes to try and get them to come to our events where only like 50 people might use their stall is really, really hard. So it is a reliance on local businesses. And I know Food Barn has its ups and downs, but they are a catering based business that have been really, really good to us, that like being at our events and do try and work with us. I know they like the colour beige, but they try. And again, trying to keep that down. Like we've constantly been fighting to try and keep that £10 meal price point, but it is getting tough. You're all adults mostly. You all have to buy shit in the real world. Last few years things have got expensive. Like even a Tesco meal deal is way more expensive than it used to be. So prices do have to go up. And again, it's event-based pricing. And for events, it's really cheap. Like we've got this with bar prices coming on later. Like people saying that £6 a pint is expensive at the bar. For an event, it really isn't. I went to Crewe Lyceum Theatre last night. How very cultured. But it was in Crewe, and it was £7.40 for a pint at a theatre, and that's a pretty busy theatre with a regular setup bar. So £6 a pint for an event isn't that bad. It's never going to be a Wetherspoons because it's not a bar that's open every day a week, turning around the volume that bulk buys that like Wetherspoons would get. But yeah, it is event prices. But in terms of event prices, we all go to a lot of events. I think it is really, really affordable for what you get. And we don't lock you into the exclusivity that others do as well. So if you don't like it, you can just go to Mackey's and bring your Mackey's in. So I think it's probably the best deal we're going to get. Healthier options are definitely something that we keep pushing. Dietary requirements, yes, they have that obligation to have those available accessibly and readily without making it difficult for you. We've reminded them of their obligations around providing dietaries. We're never going to get all of that onto our website in advance at the event, I'm afraid. But the caterers have it's been made absolutely aware to them that they need their allergens folders, for example, ready to hand to you on request. And what I will say, we're all really bad at this because we're gamers. Just talk to them. Sometimes they will have things, or they'll be able to make things or put things together for you around your own individual requirements. You have to do your bit and have a conversation with the people sometimes that understand. Don't just go, "Oh, it's not on the menu, so they don't do it." Talk to them. They're all really, really approachable people that we have as well. Go and talk to the lady that runs Cam's Kitchen. She is bonkers, and she will talk to you. You know.
Yeah, they're all actually quite a nice bunch, to be fair. Just going off what Dave said in the chat about will they be updated to expected numbers and stuff as a couple of vendors run out quickly. Yes,
tell them.
Yeah, Dave, they are, to be fair. We do tell them how many people we're expecting, including our crew. So, yeah, they are aware. I think we were all a bit shocked last event where one of the caterers, I think, ran out of food by like 6:30.
It was Cam's Kitchen again, wasn't it? But
it was.
Again, she's with a tiny little trailer and just her and there. It's like, yeah. Hog roast. Sorry, Terry.
Well,
the hog roast. The hog roast has a physical amount of food. It's a pig. When the pig is gone, the pig is gone. And the cooking process to get a new pig going isn't exactly I'll shove it on for 5 minutes or whack it in the microwave. So hog roast will be a hog roast, and when it's gone, it's always going to be gone. Cam's Kitchen is tiny, but the others, yes. Sorry, Terry does keep them informed. You carry on. You know what I'm like for interrupting.
Okay. I know, I do it too. But yeah, so yeah, we try and keep everyone up to date as much as possible with potential, numbers. Obviously, if there's 1,000 people there, not one place is going to get 1,000 people through. But yeah, hog roast, like John's just said, that is what it is. Food Barn are pretty good at not running out of stuff. But the other caterers, if they had not been to our event before, sometimes they don't know what to expect. Pizza, another one that comes up a lot of the time, is that the wait time for a pizza is quite a long time. But you just need to appreciate that they are made literally there and then. And the dough is made in the daytime or the day before, whatever. I don't know how long it takes to be a pizza specialist. But yeah, it's all fresh. It's freshly made right in front of you. So yeah, just bear with them wait times. Unfortunately, it isn't going to be any quicker than what they can go at. But pizza's a fan favourite, and they're great. They are really good.
Okay, queues for bar on Saturday night. This is one of those examples where I'm going to say we're doing it. I know people got upset about it because we're British, we don't queue for a bar. The only we put it in on Saturday night because of people's feedback. We had quite a few survey comments a while ago that on a Saturday night in particular, the other nights are fine. You'll notice it only goes in on Saturday night. We put a row of barriers in and we get people to queue around. We had people who, with Saturday being so busy in Lakeside, felt that it was getting really pushy and intimidating to get in and just get past and get in and out of the room comfortably because the bar just sort of swamped the entire walkway through and people couldn't get to all of the activities in there. That's why we put the queue in on Saturday night. It's a safety thing. It makes sure people get served. We're not going to do it every night where it's not necessary, but a Saturday we will continue to do so, and I'm not apologising for it. Soz. No ales is just wrong. I put this in there as an example of look and ask. So we always have the ales. We haven't had an event where we've not had the potbelly and the fresh ciders. They're in boxes on the back of the bar. They don't come through the normal pumps. They're sort of bag in box sort of things on the back. But if you say to the staff on the bar, do you have any of the ales or fresh ciders this event, they will go, yeah, we've got this one, this one, and this one. So again, use your grown-up voices, ask. I did see some comment about we should have posters up for them. We probably print about 100 different signs and posters at the event. And we get to the point with signs and posters where you see so many of them that you don't actually take them in anyway. You just get bombarded by information. There are so many things that we print out or we put on TVs, we put on signs, we put on notices, and people don't see them because it's just information overload. But they were there. They always have been. I've put a conversation in Discord about how they may potentially want to move them to bottles to protect that because they are, once those boxes are opened, they go off and they can't use them elsewhere in the venue. But I'm very keen. I drink them, so I'm always going to keep them there. I push for them. If Terry's camera goes off, by the way, that's because he has to go and do child things temporarily. So thankfully he did that after we finished the catering and bars topic. So moving on, next slide please, I guess. EPIC.LAN shop type stuff. So I'm going to quick fire through these because, again, time is moving on. I've got a heck of a lot more slides to try and get through. More sugar-free choices. We have limited fridge capacity, ultimately. You'll have seen last few events we bought some shiny new fridges, but we have a limited amount of capacity, and the more range we have, the fewer items we can physically fit into the fridge. So we try and pick a good range of each range in sugar-free, so there will be like 3 or 4 different monsters in sugar-free, but we know people don't like the energy drinks as well, so we will have things like the sugar-free versions of Fantas and 7-Ups, etc. on there. So we do the best we can with the fridge space that we've got, but again, if you have super specific requirements, you can bring them in yourselves. Insert other energy drink here as well, like Rockstar came up, for example, or Relentless and all of that. Again, it comes back to sheer space. and preferences, we stuck with Monster, apart from when we've had some Red Bull sponsorship before. As a single range, they've got a shed load of flavors, and we try and have as much range from those. If we were to then start bringing in other energy drinks as well, we'd have to reduce the Monster flavor range, and it's just one of those where everyone's got a preference, so we've just picked one and stuck with it. Simple as. More components, peripherals. It's not something we can physically afford to stock nor want to. We have some limited things on the shop, like cables, for example, DisplayPort cables, kettle leads, 4-ways. But the business of selling components and peripherals is not us. It's something we constantly talk to overclockers about. They have some challenges retailing outside of their warehouse, but they are always working on that. They have been able to some events. They brought a load of monitors one event that all sold out because the number of people who broke their monitors on the way to LAN, but we can't afford to stock spares of stuff that may break, like graphics cards or keyboards or mice or things like that. So it's not something that we would look to do on the EPIC.LAN shop. Can you imagine if we had to stock spare RAM at the moment? We'd have to have security just on the shop. So yeah, that's why we don't. We will keep working or trying to encourage overclockers. Overclockers have asked many times in the past in places like Discord, what sort of products would people like us to have available? And yeah, they've tried. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But again, it's how much stock can they bring to the event as well. I liked the next suggestion. I might actually look at this. There was a suggestion that we had an option on the shop for people to buy a toilet paper. They're like a better quality toilet paper for them to use personally when they were using the toilets at Kettering. That one just made me laugh. I'm not against it because it's actually really easy for us to do, but it just reminded me of other events where you have to pay for toilet upgrades. That's why it just made me laugh. I don't want to. I'm not going to encourage wipes because I really don't want you lot to start blocking the toilets.
Not again.
There's enough demand on those toilets anyway. And wipes are a bad thing, and people won't use them in moderation, and the toilets will be getting blocked. But yeah, a higher quality toilet paper on the shop is not a terrible idea. I'm not 100% I'll do it, but I liked it.
We need some
cheeky
custom
Andrex.
design ones.
Dressing gowns. I've already said we're looking at merch strategy. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? We'll feed it back to whoever wins our merch brief. And a bigger selection. This again was around food and snacks and stuff. We try, so again, I look at the data a lot that comes out of the shop. I will go through and add some things in, but again, we are a 3 times a year event that has to do something with all of that stock in between events, and sometimes the gap between our events is not enough for us to bring stock back the next time, and it's a wastage thing. If we were a supermarket that had the ability to sell things in between events, then cool, but we do have to limit our range, I'm afraid. We try and vary it up. We sell things based on previous data. Like I've said, I love a spreadsheet, but we can't expand the range too much because we already bring far too much back. So that's, there you go. Missed most of the shop stuff. Yeah, we sell earplugs already, and eye masks and stuff for people sleeping on site. Housekeeping stuff. Again, I just picked up some random stuff. Mystery carpet stains in the sleeping area, Terry. I don't know if this is something to maybe feed back to the venue. People avoided the mystery stains in the sleeping area last event. I assume that was referring to Poland.
I feel like we need to remember that them rooms aren't used for sleeping by anyone other than our guests. So they used general day-to-day conference spaces where people could spill coffees and milkshakes and food and stuff. But I'll take a look and I'll mention it.
Toilets often out of toilet roll. It's not actually that often, I would say. Like, it could be that you catch it at the wrong particular time, but again, come and talk to one of us. Any EPIC.LAN member of
Just tell us
staff.
at the help desk.
Yeah,
or the shop. Just let us know.
The venue clean 24 hours these days. There's a comment here about toilet cleaning during the day. They're on it 24 hours. But if you follow in somebody that follow somebody in after they've just been in there and they've emptied it, or they've left a mess in there. Ultimately, let's not forget that it's people that make a mess, not the cleaners. And they do get hammered. So the venue cleaning has massively improved since they keep a permanent cleaner on throughout the event. They do get blitzed overnight as well. But yeah, come and chat to us. We also have our own duty management team as well as the venue, who have checklists, and they go around every 2 hours to check all of these things to make sure that they're all topped up, and then they feed back to the venue. But yeah, just, if you catch it without, it can happen. It could have a run of people who've just all, I don't know,
Had a run.
Yeah, exactly. Then recycling, I wanted to mention because we often get feedback about recycling or lack of. Again, if you read the signs on the bins, just to reassure you, there is separation. There are separated bins that the venue has to have, but they also have separation after us as well. So the reason the venue uses clear bin bags, for example, is they go through and they take all of the cardboard out. So they have to. There were new laws that came in last year that forces businesses with of that sort of size to separate their waste on site, and they do. It just may not be as visible to you because it's just done for ease with you lot, and there are just bins everywhere that the venue then deals with the separation after. Hall temperature, Terry.
Yes.
Do you want to tell people what we're doing
It's a tricky one.
differently?
So it is
have
a
a
quite
plan,
tricky one. Yeah, obviously with where are we? Was it October? Was October? Yes, October. It was super hot for October. So we had to try and come up with some ideas on how to cool the space down when people weren't really either in actually competitive games or in the hall. So for instance, overnight, on the Friday night and the Saturday night, we had pretty much the loading bay doors open all night to try and get some cold air through and cool it down. And during the day, around teams sitting near the loading bay, obviously they're going to be freezing while everyone else is really hot. So we didn't expect it to be that hot in there, especially in October. So yeah, we just put measures in place as best as we can to cool that space down while making sure it's still safe, where it's got a security guard on that point of entry. During the times we can to reduce the temperature.
A couple of things on that. One, this is why we don't use the main arena in July, because we know that we wouldn't be able to manage that. The hall does not have air conditioning. So when people say to us, turn the AC on, it doesn't exist. The hall does not have air conditioning. Air conditioning, the actual cooling of air, not just moving of air, of a space that size is ridiculously expensive. And it doesn't have it. It has air handling, so it can move air from the outside to in, but it can't treat that. It can heat it, but it can't cool it because the cost and infrastructure to do so. So we have to manage it using nature as best as we can. But then, like Maz has said, there is a security implication to that, because we can't just leave a massive shutter door or fire door open for people to just wander in and steal your stuff. We have to either move security around or put more security on, if that's going to be done proactively. And more security, what, £15 an hour roughly for security? £15-20 an hour
20.
for the duration of the event. That very quickly runs into the thousands, and that means you have to pay more on your tickets if we're going to do that. What we're going to try and do this time is proactively manage that. So rather than wait for it to hit those temperatures and then have to bring it down, I think we're looking at rotating times throughout the day where we're just going to keep on top of it for little bursts. But the teams who are sat by those either fire doors or loading bay, as Terry said, they are freezing, so they also get upset, and that's distracting, especially if they're in tournaments. So we're going to do our best to manage it. Again, you guys can help. Switch your PCs off when you're not using them. Don't bring things to the event that aren't supposed to be there. I am going to clarify things around things like mini fridges, because people in the past have been like, well, we can have a mini fridge if we rig it up to our PC, but what's your mini fridge doing to cool the insides down? It's pumping out hot air. So we're actually going to tweak the rules on mini fridges to even capture those people who are trying to get around it by plugging it into their PCs, because it's another heat source. So all those things that are extra additional heat sources to bend the rules. We have had people bring bloody plug-in heaters and run their straighteners in there. Like, one of the reasons we're strict on these things is a whole suite of reasons, not just power, and we're going to look at those sort of things as well. You think way back when we started in the arena, we used to have the catering in there as well, with all the hot plates as well. That was mad. Anyway, next one. I like these ones. Somebody told me, not experienced it myself, friend told me that they accidentally left a towel in the change rooms in October and it was still there. This was referring to October 2024 to October 25. This is one, I wish I was Penn and Teller and had a bullshit button now. This can't have happened. Do you know why? Because the changing rooms were refurbished last year. They were completely gutted, stripped, repainted, refitted, new showers, new walls, new changing benches. Nobody's towel was left there for the 12 months that the changing rooms were refurbished. Your friend's lying. Don't put shit in the survey that you've heard as a rumour. I've already talked about cleaning during the day. We have cleaners during the day. It's just busy. Like, it's getting bombarded by 1,000 people. It can't have been in there for over 6 months because they've been refurbished. If you talk about the changing rooms, they can't be.
We need the shame button.
Unless Kindred's get into a different changing rooms that we don't know
We're
about.
using some super secret ones. Unless it's since the refurbishment, then that's different. But the timeline of from last October to this October spans the period where they were completely closed, painted, stripped, and refurbished. Anyway,
Kindred, if we went there tomorrow on a site visit, me and you, would it still be there?
that's a date. Take him up on it.
I'll do that. He can teach me how to play Scum.
I'm the towel. I can confirm I've been there for 6 months. More toilets. We can't just put more toilets in, but there are plenty of toilets in the venue. What I would say is you might have to go on a little walk to get to them. So the upstairs toilets, I do this during the pub quiz. I run upstairs and go to the upstairs toilets, the ones that we use when we're using Feral. They're open during our events, even if we're not using upstairs. So there are other toilets in the venue, not just the ones in between the main hall and lakeside. Yes, there's only a couple of cubicles and urinals in there. Sorry, talking to the gents, because I don't believe that the female toilets are under the same pressure. There are toilets down the corridor, so there's a set of toilets in the ones where we have the showers. Also, upstairs, go upstairs, the balcony toilets, they can be used during our events. They always have plenty of capacity. There are plenty of toilets across the venue, just not necessarily the ones that you are closest to you if you go on a little walk. If we were to bring more toilets in, they would be Portaloos, not charging you £95 for the privilege of using them, but they would be outside. They would be just as far as going upstairs to use the toilets upstairs. We can't add more toilets into the venue. They would have to be external. We're not doing Portaloo hire. End of.
No.
Use the upstairs ones. They're great. They're nice and quiet. Really conscious of time, but hey, we're on a roll. Social activity stuff. This is probably what a lot of you are interested in. So, a few things I picked out on here. Words, John. PA announcements. This is an interesting one. I don't know. So, we don't go mad on PA announcements because we actually, even when casuals have had their own room. So we had feedback from Portland last summer, where it is a dedicated casual room, that there were too many PA announcements, even for the casuals, and they were finding it annoying to get interrupted and have to take the headset off and listen to what was going on every time there's a PA announcement. So that's one thing. We do go light on the PA announcements in the hall because of interrupted people. There is roughly 70% of the people in there are playing in tournaments at the time, and it would also have to be a really chunky PA kit to be heard clearly across the entire arena space. So that's why we are light on PA announcements for things going on. And even when we used to do them, didn't mean people respond to them because, say, people are embedded in their headsets and people have got really good noise cancelling, and I don't think it would necessarily fix the problem that people want that to fix, which is to magically get people into games that people don't really want to play. Personally, I don't think it's the announcements. I think it's the way people play social and casual games in 2026 that is preventing that, not the announcements. I think people of a certain age, myself included, want to blame it on something else because we missed the old days of 60-odd people in a Unreal tournament server. I personally don't think it's the PA that is causing that. But I think we all miss the days of people jumping on the PA because they were the days when people wanted to engage in those big games. Hey, I said it. I don't know if you two have got thoughts on PA announcements.
No, I just know they're done. They're done. And some people like them, and some people don't like them. Some people don't hear them because they have headphones on their head. So it's a tricky one.
I think there are lots of other ways of finding out what's going on. And one thing that we were talking about in the office earlier, I'll be honest, I think people need to take some responsibility themselves for knowing what's going on. That said, yes, there's stuff around scheduling and timekeeping that we're going to work on, and again comes up on the next slide. Oh, no, this slide. Yes, we've got to get better at running things to time, but one thing we are going to be doing is going back to old school and just making sure that things are clearer on the website, because yes, things get missed on Discord, yes, things get missed on social media, but the website is a static source of information that you can go and get the timetable on, so you'll know what's happening. You all have your own ways of signing up to things and setting your own reminders. You've all got smartphones, watches, etc. So I think there is a little bit of going to look for that information and keeping yourselves informed and taking some of that responsibility yourselves. We could go around and tap everybody on the shoulders and say, like, join in this game now, and people still wouldn't, because they'd be like, nah, I'm playing Call of Duty with my mates. So PA announcements I don't think is the solution to the problem, personally. Pub quiz. I couldn't enter because I didn't know you had to pre-book. That's just not the case, and a lot of people said that last event. I will clarify again. You do not have to pre-book for the pub quiz. You can pre-book for the pub quiz. The first 8 or so teams, you can guarantee your table, but you do not have to pre-book for the pub quiz, and it was not sold out last event. There were still 2 tables left and empty by the time we started. So nobody missed out on the pub quiz last event by not signing up. There were still spaces at the end. The way it works, first 8 teams can reserve. They get their names put on their tables. The rest of the tables are free for all. Turn up, take a spot. Some tables only have teams of 2 or 3 people. Buddy up, make some friends. That's what LAN's all about. Join in with another team. But you do not have to pre-book for the pub quiz. It's an option for those who are more organised. Sign-ups are open now, I think. I can't make that any clearer, really. Discord structure. We have both ends of the scale in the survey feedback. There needs to be more channels for each individual tournament, game, activity, versus there are too many channels, therefore we can't win. I don't know what the answer is. Everyone's got an opinion on it. Everybody's opinion is polar opposite. We try and tidy them up, then people are like, oh, we need a channel for this, so it gets added back in again. I don't know. I think Discord is brilliant, but it's also pain to try and manage. I think we may be too reliant on Discord for being the source of information, and it comes back to an absolute basic, go and check the website, because that is just there as a list.
Or the intranet.
The intranet doesn't do anything anymore.
Well, the big screen slides that
yeah.
we put on the TVs, that shows some info. Obviously, you need to find a TV to see it.
Discord's cluttered. We're all in 50-odd Discords as well these days. There's pings going off all over the place. People disable their notifications because people like me ping everyone. I don't know. We like, this is the dilemma for us. It's not that we're not listening to your feedback. It's that when we read it all, we get both ends of it. It's like, so what do we do? Do people want more channels or less? We want both. Yeah. I don't have any other comments on that other than I honestly don't know what the answer is. We try and do things with roles. Dan is working on some of the automation stuff around roles, so you don't have to do the whole react to things. It'll be linked to what you've signed up for and your ticket sales and stuff to try and improve that process a little bit. But I just don't know what the answer is apart from talking to people, reading information that's out there, taking some of that responsibility yourselves. The bit that we have to do is make sure the things are running to schedule. I do agree on that one. If things are late and you've gone on the website and it looks like you missed it, then that is on us to work on that. We do try. It's a live event. Sometimes things go wrong. There are technical issues. There are people issues. There are things in other teams going on that may delay things. Or we get like random tours of people. We used to have a web app to give people notifications and about 5 people used it. We've been there. Honestly, in the last 23 years, we've tried pretty much everything. Oh, we used to have something that you could have running that gave you notifications, called the EPIC Hub. Yeah, think like Face It type
Steve,
hubs.
you need to rename it EPIC.hub and it would work.
No, it was, but hardly anybody used it.
That's clever though.
Because it was just something else that you had to remember to do. We've even tried piping the announcements from the PA kit into an internal stream that you could have listening. You could be listening to in like VLC or through the intranet. But again, it just didn't get used. The effort to make it work. Steam community, been there, done that. Set all the events up in Steam communities. We've got a Discord bot that you can sign up to. We use the Sesh bot, so you can sign up to a Discord bot that you can say that you're going to take part in these activities, then you'll get a Discord ping to say, don't forget you've signed up to take part in the TF2 big game, but not many people sign up to that either. PA into CS plugins. We used to have a radio station that did that. That's a bigger story. It's really, really hard. Like, please don't think that we don't see all of that feedback and try and rack our brains to come up with the solutions, but God, everybody wants to communicate in different ways and has their own networks and channels and tools that they use. This was my point earlier. Old days, there was an IRC server, there'd be a single channel, you'd all be in there, we could ping all of you, perfect. Everybody is so scattered now through so many tools and networks and channels and devices, it's fucking impossible. Yeah, anyway, photo coverage. Why wasn't there a photo of me? I went back through the last survey and so many people there wasn't a photo of every player, there wasn't a photo of every row, there wasn't a photo of every team. Why didn't I get a photo of me during the event? Sam, it's your moment.
I can answer this one.
Why are you not there as a personal photographer for all 1,000 people walking through the door, Sam? Come on.
Because you're not interesting enough, okay? We take pictures of people that are enjoying and looking, they're celebrating, okay? Especially on stage. If you're not on stage throwing your arms around and shouting at each other, there will be no photos of you.
Sam is being slightly sarcastic at this point, by the way, just as a disclaimer.
Yes. There is so many people in the LAN hall. You've got to think that BYOC photos is not our primary... Like, it doesn't take up all of our day. We've got 1,000,001 other things to take photos of. So, and it's a small content team as well. I think for this event, there's going to be 4 of us. So it's just, adjust your expectations. There are always people there with media passes as well. You can always flag down, or you can contact people that you know are going to be at the event that are taking a camera, or even just come find one of us. But yeah, there's not always enough time, and there is so many people and photos to go through that sometimes we just miss people. And it's not personal.
We are not there as your personal photographer. Now, there was another aspect to this with the gallery's last event. So we've started publishing highlights each day to get some photos out quicker for people to use around the event. Some people filled out the survey and went, is that it? Is that all of the photos? No, it was just the highlights album. If you'd waited a week or so, all of the photos then dropped. So there is that as well. But yeah, we are not there as your personal photographer. If as a team, as an esports team, for example, you want to guarantee you've got photos of your presence at the event, you need to take your own media people, I'm afraid. Whether you engage freelancers for that or you bring along extra team members to handle that's on you. We will not promise to get photos of every person in the event. We try and show a good range of things. We try and show it across as many tournaments as possible, as many of the casual activities as possible, but sometimes there's something going on the stage, something going on Lakeside, something interesting happening in BYOC, something interesting happening outside, and the very small content team, who again, pretty much all volunteers, cannot be everywhere at all times. They are not your personal photographers. They will try their best, but they're not there. And so don't get shitty with them if they don't get a photo of you in the gallery. And also, one other thing, sometimes they may take a photo, so you may see photographers going up and down the rows. They sometimes just don't turn out. Like, it is really challenging environment from a lighting point of view in particular to get decent photographs. If they don't work out, they don't go into the gallery, because the photographers don't want bad photos reflecting on them either, because it's their own personal portfolios. It's just how it is. Timing, scheduling. I think I've said, we try our best. We never intentionally... I don't know who it is. Somebody in this chat will know. There was some quite brutal comments around timing and scheduling. We never plan to run things late. And again, there's a lot of volunteers working on the events. There's a lot of live things that can go wrong at a live event. It's never through lack of preparation or trying. Sometimes shit just goes wrong. Like there's network issues or there's a power outage that then has a cascade effect throughout the entire day for us to then get back onto schedule because of staff who are involved in those things just can't then catch up because it is constant. We are trying our best. One thing we've done this event, we have restructured our teams a little bit. So we have a new team this event. We technically have 2 new teams. One doesn't affect this topic though. We've created a sort of more general event team. This is no change, so there is still a dedicated community team, which, again, a lot of other events don't bother with. So the fact that we still have that team, and it will always be a focus for us, we have a dedicated team just to look after our community. We've created this more general event team who are there to support with, my best description is stuff. They will be the people who greet you on the shop. They'll be the people who talk to you on the front of house area, but they will also just be milling around the event, keeping on top of things and helping areas that aren't necessarily doing the scheduled tasks to try and make the event run smoothly. They'll work in conjunction with our duty managers to just to help out across the whole team and just give that little bit of flexibility so that the other teams can focus on their more timed schedules. Hopefully that will help a little bit. But yeah, please don't think that we just don't care and that's why things run late. Far from it. Like if Binks in chat, like Bing really does give a shit about the scheduling and the community side of things, along with her team as well. Like they never wake up each morning and go, do you know what we're going to do today? We're going to run everything 90 minutes late. That's just not how it works. They try, but it is a live event, and it's also a long and tiring live event. So just do keep that in mind as well. Activity info, clarity over structure for fun tournaments and other stuff. Is it a big game? Is it a fun tournament? What are the rules? What maps do I need? There is a page that's being developed, is launched, is released, linked? No?
It's not launched yet.
Okay.
It's not launched yet. It will be launched next week.
There is a web page that goes with the timetable that breaks down all of the games and fun tournaments, big games, how they're all structured, what you need, who's running them. We could even put the seat of the person who's running on there if we haven't already, their Discord, just to give you more information about all of those casual activities rather than just a line on a timetable. That's already being done. So there you go. Stage content. This was a general. We felt that the stage content is a challenge sometimes, and again, this is no reflection on the people who are creating that content for the stage, but it's really hard when nobody's watching to get the enthusiasm and fresh ideas through for that stage. So we've had a bit of a rethink with stage content, and we've also announced it all a lot earlier as well. That's one of the things that we were perhaps guilty of in the past, has everything been announced in the final few weeks of the event, but actually it's all out there 6 weeks before this time. So we've revolutionized, no, that's not even the word, we've shaken up the stage content and the way that the stage is hosted, and we've created, as well as a dedicated event team, we've now created a dedicated talent team that runs across esports and community and stage content. So hosts, for example, will be hosting a mixture of stage and esports, and even Lakeside on a Saturday night, like helping to host the karaoke, for example. So that dedicated talent team now exists. In terms of stage content, we've already done the timetable. We've got some fresh new ideas in there. We all put our heads together, basically locked ourselves in a writer's room sort of style a couple of weeks ago, and worked through all of the content to try and bring some new shows in, to try and do some stuff that's relevant. So for example, on a Friday afternoon, we've got about 80 students there from various universities and colleges, so we're going to put something on the stage for them that's educational and do more panel type content because it's a relevant audience at that point in time. We've got one of the game devs having a stage slot to show their game. They've created a live action build of their game just for you guys to put on stage with audience interaction and sabotage and stuff, to show off that game as something a bit different. There's one thing unannounced on there, which if I can pull that off will be pretty cool. And one of the other things that I've asked our hosting team to do is I want the hosts to bridge the gap between the stage segments more as well. So it's not just about come on, host a segment, have half an hour of downtime, come on, host another segment. But what I want the hosts to work between them, to work the crowd a little bit in between the segments and tell people what's coming up, get some hype. So 10 minutes before a show starts, they come out, they start shouting about what's going on, they wave people over, they do some mini games in between shows, so that things like mini games and Jackbox games are no longer the stage content, it's the filler in between. We're looking at doing more interactive stuff on the screen, like mini Kahoot type quizzes in between segments, again, not as the actual content, just so that you're hyped by the time a show starts to get people interested in that stage content again. So thinking more like expo stages would run, rather than the way we've been doing stage. So we're all really excited about how we've livened up that stage segment, that stage content. What I would ask from is you give us a shot and you come in and watch what we've done. We're obviously doing more of the entertainment stuff as well. Lucia's back. We've got John Robertson booked twice this year for both stand-up and the dark room. It's something different. So we're adding all of those things in. But yeah, do try and support the stage to make it easier to host. Yeah, that's anything you two want to add on stage content. Cool.
I'm looking forward to the new additions.
It's going to be a good event for the stage.
I'm excited by it. And I've been very heavily, like I said, I'm getting more involved in some of that stuff. So at least 2 of the shows on there were ideas of mine. So they might be shit, but at least it's getting more involved. And we're doing an anti-AI segment as well called Croc. I know it's controversial, that's why we're taking the piss out of it. All I'll say is it involves Microsoft Paint. There you go. Croc, that was OT's title, I'll give him credit for that. Alright, random other stuff from that survey. More karaoke, done, sorted, karaoke's going to run longer, easy. It did end quite quickly last event, but with the extra bar time, the karaoke will run later alongside the later opening in Lakeside. We may rotate who's hosting the karaoke, because Daft, bless him, carries Saturday night in, with the karaoke, with all the stuff he's written to make that interactive and the whole queue system as well. But this is where, again, we've asked the hosts to try and help run some of Saturday night in Lakeside a little bit as well. So yeah, karaoke will run longer, easy. Check-in and bag checks. Do you want to talk about our idea from earlier, Terry?
Well, I don't want to say the wrong thing.
We're not saying we're doing it. Let's be clear.
Okay.
This is our idea that we're working on.
And some ideas a while ago from a few people in the community about the whole early check-in, checking in process of checking in. They're going to wait in the car park or in the little bottle bar next to the check-in desk. So we're looking at options at the moment to open up Lakeside for people that have checked in early to take their stuff through, to go and hang out in there, make use of the consoles in there, get a drink from the bar, buy some food in the shop, but just hang out in Lakeside so you're already in the venue for when we actually open at 4 o'clock. But there's a few things we need to just get around before we 100% make that choice. But it just should speed up that queue time of people getting their bags checked if we actually open bag check fully from 2 o'clock instead of just 4 o'clock. So we'll probably have an answer for that for next week.
We will announce it if and when it becomes official. I think this was an idea from Gunman's, I want to say, the suggestion that came from. Ultimately, what we spoke about earlier is what happens if it's raining and we have a queue that's running all the way around the building again, and we don't want that. So is there a way of us getting people through? Again, it might be a little bit of extra cost our side, because we might need security for an extra couple of hours, because they currently don't start at that time. But if we can get you in, just not into the halls. We've had one of the next comments coming up is around early check-in. We can't do a full early check on our early entry because we're simply not ready. That's the reason we open at 4 o'clock, because we ain't ready before that. So you're not getting in to the halls before that. But if we can get the shop and Lakeside ready for 2, so it's safe and usable, and then the venue don't have to switch which bars open as well. They can just open the Lakeside one, and you can have draft instead of bottles from the theatre bar. We think it's a good idea. We are working on that one. Venue Wi-Fi. We don't have any tech team members in here, but on Wi-Fi, we don't run the Wi-Fi. It is purely the venue Wi-Fi. We just rename one. Well, then we stick our own SSID on there, so it looks like it's our Wi-Fi, but the physical infrastructure for that belongs to the venue. It's flaky. We know there are a lot of people in there. There's 1,000 or so devices in the arena. One of the access points in the arena wasn't working last event, so you were actually all connected to one access point. So that is sorted now, so that's been fixed. I can see it because we have access to their controller. We are constantly putting pressure on the venue around Wi-Fi. They've got a lot of older access points that they are working through, refreshing and updating. We have gone to a 10 gig line. So we've gone from 3 gig to 10 gig for this event. So the throughput isn't necessarily the problem. It's the individual access points getting saturated. They are working on it, but again, it's cost from a venue point of view. But they know there are some areas that we know are dead spots. It's on their list to improve. They've got a rolling replacement plan going. It will just take some time. It's one of the reasons we stopped charging for that as a dedicated service to spectators, because we couldn't guarantee any sort of quality around it. So that's that. There's a question about Wi-Fi quickly. Sorry, before we move on to the. I don't have it to hand, but I'd like us to go back to publishing that post-event, because I think some of those stats are interesting, as long as the tech team have time to. But yes.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
We will know it. We'll have it logged somewhere, but I don't have it to hand.
Yeah.
Shuttle bus, Terry, our favourite topic.
Nah, man. Shuttle bus. So we trialled it for 2 events. It's been a challenge for 2 events, trying to work out the best way for it to be at a specific place at a specific time without any support from the hotels to have a suggested bus waiting point, or like a bus stop, for instance, or allowing us to pull up outside their front doors and block their entrance for 5 minutes. It's been a bit of a challenge. And then getting the bus could have been full at the Holiday Inn and it drop off at the venue and then go back to the next hotel, and the time frame that we originally set out for the timetable, it just wouldn't meet that expectation. So last event we trialled it again, and we changed it to be a hop on hop off service, so that it should be at the venue for a few minutes. You jump on the bus, job done, you come to the venue. When the bus, it would, once it dropped off, it would start that route again, but there was no way for us to track that bus without me personally calling the driver and finding out where he was. So, there's been a lot of feedback across both of the events about, it's really easy to just get a tracker and, you can give everyone access to that, this, that, and the other.
The number of people who are like, just stick an AirTag on it. Yeah, but then somebody's got to have an Apple phone. Then we've got to share it with everybody. And then we're still reliant on the bus having an Apple phone. Like, some of the absolute basic solutions just weren't enterprise enough for it to work properly.
Yeah, and it's difficult when the hotels weren't working with us either to give us like a dedicated spot for that bus to be. We wanted to put Fomex boards up at the hotels to say, like, this is where the Epic bus is going to stop. We weren't allowed. So, or I didn't get a response from at least 2 of the hotels. So moving forward, if it's a big if, I have actually a meeting tomorrow with a tracking provider company who can hopefully sort us out a device that can be taken in and out of vehicles, because we use 2 different minibuses at the event. The one in the morning is different to the one in the evening. They're 2 different drivers. So the device needs to be able to move from one vehicle to another without being wired into the battery and whatnot. So got a little meeting about that tomorrow. Hopefully, if that works, then potentially we may look at doing the bus again. I know it's really helpful for some people, and some people just got frustrated that it wasn't where it was supposed to be at a set time, or they missed it, or they waited ages for it. So we're just trying to implement a way that we can at least track it, so it's on its way to where you are.
This will be something that you guys can track.
It's been a challenge.
It will be, if we go with it will be on a web page, not. Because what we can't have, Terry has a lot of responsibilities at the event. What we can't have is Terry constantly being the one that you all go to, going, where's the bus? and like the bus hasn't turned up, that's taking Terry away from lots of things he has to deal with. So this will
So
put
this,
Go on.
the link, we create the link and email it to anyone who purchases a shuttle bus ticket. Is he muted?
No.
Oh. Yeah, so we would share the link with anyone who purchased a ticket for the shuttle bus, and that literally just open that on your phone, and it takes you to a web page which shows you exactly where the bus is.
That's going to be our last and best effort to try and make it work. It's never going to be a scheduled service. We are not a bus operator. This is us trying our best to put on something that makes it more cost effective and accessible for people. It will
I'm
still be a
bored
hop
because
on.
of this bus.
It will still be a hop on, hop off service. You'll just know where it is. There is no way we could ever do it on a strict schedule because traffic is a thing, or it may get full at one hotel and then have to come back to drop people off. And we would never know because if everybody's waiting for the bus at one time, we could never predict that. So, yeah, this is our last attempt. However, what I would say as well, it's barely covering the cost of running it. So similarly, we can't subsidize it. It's got to wash its face, as they say. And if it doesn't, and we're still getting the stresses of managing it, then we will have to go back. But we can write it off as being a good experiment. We tried to do something that was the right thing to do, but unfortunately it may not have worked. So this is probably our last attempt to make it work. Right. Website design. You'll be glad to know we are finally getting a new website design. So part of this was the move to Stripe payments that happened a couple of months ago. So you no longer have to deal with the old checkout and say all the issues that we were getting with Sage Pay or Apeo or Elevon or whatever they were called these days, which gave us lots of problems with foreign transactions. So we get a lot of those rejected. So we've moved to Sage Pay. You've now got all of the things that come with Sage Pay, like PayPal Pay and 3, Klarna, Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc. So that's helped the process a little bit and made the checkout smoother. The next stage is to deal with the old design of the web page, let's say. Again, a challenge there is ours. It's a very custom website with a lot of custom code and structure that sits behind it. It's not a WordPress site. We can't just whack a new theme on it. It's got to be all built from scratch. But we've commissioned a front-end designer who we got the first wireframes back this week, which are looking really, really positive. We've given them lots of reference sites of other event-based things that we'd like them to base it on, and things that we want as priority, and again taking on board that feedback. So that process has started. It obviously won't be in place for 47 bookings, but I'm hoping that by the time you book your tickets for 48, that's implemented. So we have listened on that as well, and have commissioned that process. Right.
We're all very excited because it feels like you're getting taken to a new era.
One that should have probably happened about 15 years ago, but hey, like I said, I
it works.
The context we had at the start of this meeting, any money we make on Epic goes back into Epic. Alexa, stop. We don't have spare funds to just throw at this sort of thing, so we've had to use money that we've raised from other projects to pay for this, because again, your ticket sales don't necessarily. But we're doing our best. Let's see, lots of shit happening at the moment. That's just the Epic 46 comment. Now, I'm really conscious this has gone over by about half an hour that we said we were going to do. We were going to set a hard cap of 90 minutes. We've already gone over that. We've got some more feedback to go through. We're going to have to quick fire this, and it is almost going to be us telling you what we're doing or not doing. I'm going to have to ease off on the rants and going off on one. So we will quick fire through these next slides to get this wrapped up, because we've all got other stuff. We've all got our day jobs. Terry's got kids that he's trying to keep an eye on with his baby monitors as well. But I'm sort of okay that we're getting really good conversations. There's decent numbers in the chat. I think this has been really, really worthwhile, and we definitely should do more of this. I appreciate everyone who has turned up tonight to make this a far more interesting conversation for all of us. So this was the survey that people did at the end of the year. So not this. Also has comments from people in here who don't come to our events or haven't been to our events for ages, and it's things that may put people off, or it's just more general than things that happened at a specific event. So just some interesting stuff. You wanted to have more transparency over stats and numbers and stuff like that. Again, this normally goes in our sponsorship decks for people, but for those who are interested in this sort of thing, we love an infographic, right? This is what you all look like as a community in terms of ages, genders, esports versus casual balance, disabilities, number of people attending, how much you like our partners. This is all stuff that comes back out of the end of year survey, which is really, really valuable for conversations I'm then having with partners and helping us to design the event as well. One thing that I always find interesting is that middle infographic. My cursor's not showing the gender infographic there, is moving and is becoming more and more balanced every event. It's still not there, it's not equal, but over the 23 years I've been doing this, that needle is moving very, very significantly, and I'm noticing this more at our events as well, as our events become a more open, inclusive, safe, reassuring space for people. So that's what we want to see, more of that. There's a brilliant comment in the end of year survey that I quite like. Now, we don't have time to get into a whole need for women non-binary tournaments in esports, but there is a brilliant comment in there from a female CS player who says that EPIC.LAN is proving that there is a way of having esports tournaments that are open to all without needing that sort of separated tournament structure that has to exist elsewhere. And that's pretty important to see. That's for a whole esports discussion some other time, though. But yes, EPIC.LAN is evolving in the right way, I feel, in terms of esports events. There's also more interesting stuff in here, like this one too. Devices people use, ways people like to be communicated with. So again, this steers Sam's strategy for how we communicate with all of you, because we take a look at the way people want to be spoken to and hear information about our events. And yes, Discord is up there, so Discord will continue to be a part of our strategy, for example. But yeah, that, again, customer NPS, industries people work in. It's just all interesting stuff, really. I could spend ages waffling on about this, but we want to get on the feedback. So, end of year feedback. I'm going to have to just reposition myself because my back, because I'm old. Right, end of year feedback, general type sort of comments here. You'll find that we've already implemented a lot of this, which is again why we're here having this conversation now, because we've been reading through and we've listened and we've reacted to stuff. So announce activities earlier. I agree. Terry and Sam will know how much I've got on about this recently. We're going to do it even earlier next event, but for me, the deadline said is you all need to know what's going on at the event before the hotel discount ends, is the absolute latest I've said, because it gets more expensive for you to attend back then. Just back to the shuttle bus stuff. We don't have time to manually be posting that sort of stuff, basically. It's a staff management thing. Anything around the bus has got to be completely automated, not taking up individual staff time and messages like that. Anyway, bus. Announce activities earlier. So, our aim is, as soon as Epic 47 is finished, we'll do our wrap up, and within a couple of weeks, not months, you'll have the information about what's going on at Epic 48. That's our new commitment going forward. We're going to spend more time helping the volunteer teams pull that information together. That's our commitment, is to get on top of that so that you know what's going on at the event. I had quite a few comments last event where people were going on the What's On page 2 or 3 weeks before the event going, it still all says coming soon. Why would I buy a ticket for an event where it says coming soon, especially if I've not been before? So that's that. Have a raffle every event. I'd love to, but again, it's a sponsor partner thing. There, we just don't. The sponsors and partners that we did have simply couldn't afford to provide raffle prizes for every event anymore. We are past those eras where people have loads of stuff to give away, sadly. I would love one every event. Again, other events maybe do that, but they don't have as many events as we do. We focused it in the past on larger fundraising events, but right now you all know the sponsorship and partnership scenario. So I can't even promise that we have one at all anytime soon. If we did, cool, but also our priorities to make sure things like fun tournaments all have prizes, etc. too. Student or group discounts. This is one of those cases where I'm just going to say no. Because anywhere where we do discounts, the amount of money is still finite. So if we were to do a student discount or a group discount, that means the base ticket price has to go up anyway. So it becomes more expensive for certain groups of people, and that's just not the route we want to go down. It's the same event for everybody. Everybody pays the same price in tickets for me. I don't, in this case, I don't see why a student should get cheaper tickets to our event, because they're getting the same experience as everybody else anyway, and say we just have to move the other ticket prices up. We are currently, and will still be, the cheapest of the big 3 LANs in the UK. Our most expensive ticket at full price is cheaper than the other 2 events' discounted tickets. So that is our aim, is to keep our base price low for everybody and not start doing lots of discount levels for certain groups of people that others don't get. That's me being honest and open. We're just not going to do that. More free stuff, sponsor prizes. You know what I'm going to say about that. I've just said it with raffles. The days of sponsors just being able to blow tens of thousands of pounds on merch to give away at any event, not just Epic. Go to the likes of EGX. Like, you used to be able to go around an event like EGX and come away with bags of swag at the end, and you just don't anymore. Unfortunately, marketing budgets for brands just don't exist in the same way that they used to. I wish they did, but that sadly is life. Make the events cheaper to attend. I've just basically said this. We can't. We're already affordable. I worked it out again today. I can see Elsie in chat. We've had this debate. Not debate. Elsie's on my side with this many times in the past. You find anything that you can do for £1.32 an hour in terms of entertainment. Cinema, sports matches, gigs, all way more expensive per hour for everything you get for LAN as well, with the furniture. Imagine the power use that we get through at LAN, invested in the internet connection. Even your wristband has a cost to it. So what, like 20-30p or something for your wristband? VAT, we have to give 20% of everything we take from you to the government. So no, we can't make them any cheaper. We will always fight to keep them as affordable as possible, and that includes working with the hotels for discount, trying to do the shuttle bus to keep travel costs down, trying to keep the food costs down, etc. But we are already, for the size of our event, we are the cheapest. I'm not saying we are the cheapest LAN, because there are still smaller LANs in Scout Huts, village halls that we very much love, adore and support, that don't have the same cost as ours. But we are the cheapest of the big 3. What?
Sam's comment, sorry, it made me laugh.
Have the event during term time to make hotels cheaper. I saw that comment. We actually don't actively target half term or not. It's purely a venue availability thing. But being in term time doesn't necessarily make hotels cheaper. Because Kettering, I don't know if you've noticed, but Kettering isn't a tourist destination. So it's not like the hotels in Kettering actively target tourists during the school holidays. In fact, most of the hotels in Kettering are used for businesses. So their hotel prices change more based on business use than they do consumer tourism use. And not as many people can attend when it's outside of half term. So the hotels may be cheaper, not as many people would turn up, we wouldn't sell as many tickets, therefore we're less affordable. Have more PC rentals. Have you seen the cost of PC components right now? I'd love to. We never used to do rentals. We gradually increase our stock, but as I answered somebody on Twitter earlier today, renting out PCs 3 times a year does not cover the cost of PCs. Yes, we use them for some other events as well, but PCs are expensive. There is a management cost, logistics, maintenance, damage. It's getting the investment in to justify buying 20 plus PCs at a time is mad. We always try and have the best stock, especially to then cascade down from the stage through to the rest of the event. We have more PCs than we've ever had before. But yeah, we are a BYOC LAN first. We're not a turn up and play LAN. So we do what we can with PC rentals. We added in monitor rentals this time for the first time. We've been asked for that a lot because I think people are happy to bring the PC but don't want to risk their monitor because it's easier to break, so we added that in. But we can't just have more PCs. I'd love to. Terry would hate it. More in the warehouse to manage.
Just more space.
It's literally that. We have two.
I think we've got like 124 PCs or something in stock, which is a lot.
And we've now had to take on a second warehouse because the sheer amount of stuff we have. And warehouses cost money in rent. So again, it's all stuff that makes the events more expensive. This one upset me. Loss of focus from community side on one end of the survey, and then other comments next to it. EPIC.LAN doesn't simply throw casual gamers into a room and ignore them. They organise events to make everyone feel involved, and a superb community team who work so well together. So we've got a mixture of people saying we've lost our focus on community versus EPIC.LAN does things that no other events do for their community. I, again, looking at some of the other larger events, don't feel that they have anywhere near the dedicated community team that we have. And it's one of the reasons we keep that as a separate team to everything else, to just look after the community side of things. So Beacon, the team, making sure there is a schedule of stuff to do. Again, I can think of another large event that didn't have anywhere near that level of planning and schedule and the fun tournament side of things. Plus all of the other stuff we have, like having the console areas, having all the board, like the amount that we spend on board games, for an example. We make sure a lot of the partners we bring in are having a focus of things for people to do. The content on the stage until Saturday afternoon is all for the community, not for esports. So what I won't accept is we've lost our focus on community. I completely disagree with whoever says that. It might not be doing the things that you want, and people may not be taking part in the way that you want them to, because you may be one of these people who misses the old big games. What we've noticed is people do just do things in their smaller closed-off communities. They sit in their own Discords, not the group Discords. They play squad-based games. I get that, and I agree with that. And sometimes we just can't make people play the games that you want to play. At the bigger events, we have 100 to 200 people who are there for community. 8 or so, Com is a good example, are perhaps the most vocal and get involved in everything, but a lot of people just don't want to. I would say that's just how gaming has evolved. Sadly, we all miss the old days of LAN servers and everyone pilot. It's why I like Lux, because at Lux we do get a couple of full server TF2 games going, because it's at the age of people who used to love a big game at LAN. But it's sad. I miss it, but I think it is how people play games these days, and that's not our fault for not trying. It's so frustrating for the community team when they put things on. They put on the feedback sessions. They do a feedback session at every event and before every event as well that gets 5 or 6 people turn up to. And again, it's announced on socials, it's announced on Discord, but the same 5 or 6 people turn up all the time. And then the people who aren't turning up are the ones that we need to get to. So, yeah, this is a tough one. It's one that we're never going to fix. I think, as one of the survey comments says, we have become a community of communities, not a community in our own right. Gummans has just said exactly the same thing as well. There's things we will try. I've got icebreaker games on there. Again, we've tried it at the tabletop event, so things in person, like 2 Rooms and a Boomer is a great icebreaker that we could maybe do in Lakeside on a Thursday night. But we still can't force people. How do you feel on that, Terry? You're an old school, like, used to
Yeah,
go
no,
to
you're right, and like Gumman's comment is right. It is, like you're part of many different groups. People still socialise and stuff, but everyone kind of wants to do what they want to do now instead of joining in with everything. As much as, like you say, for Lux, like it's great when you get a whole TF2 server going and everyone's in the room shouting at each other. It kind of takes you back, but it's at the larger events, it's the people go there with that intention to play with the friends they're going with, and it's difficult to get them to join the other activities that we put on.
But that's what they want to do. They want to go within their friendship groups and have a weekend away with friends and play games with those friends, because they're like a bit older. And
so we're like, it's just a constant battle, isn't it? Trying to put enough on to keep people entertained, but not too much to over give people too much to do. But trying to get everyone involved in everything is just super tough. the mix of games we have to come up with and think about, and Bink and the team think about the various genres of games and what could work, what we need to try. It's not easy. It isn't easy, and they do put a lot of effort into what they're doing to try and fit everyone's needs and make it a good experience for everyone.
What I won't have, and I will always defend the team and the efforts that they put in all year round, by the way. Like, this community as a team isn't just a group of people that turn up on the Thursday of LAN. Like, they are constantly there talking, listening, in Discord, coming up with ideas. So what I won't have is that we don't have that focus. So that's the bit where I'll defend them to the end on that one. EPIC.LAN has always been a casual LAN first. It's how I started it, with 55 people in a village hall 23 years ago, and we will never ever lose that focus. We could very, very easily, in the community side, open up more seats and capacity on the esports and have an easy ride and probably fill more seats at the event. But we don't. Like, we keep that team, we keep those spaces. It's hard to make people do things they just don't want to do.
And it's difficult to get new communities to come to the event. Like, they all almost need to come and visually see it and visit it before they commit to coming. So
us boomers have this conversation. Like, why would I go to a LAN? I've got an internet connection at home. Why do I need to pack my PC down and travel halfway across the country to play games with friends? I can just play with them on Discord. You know, that's the generation.
Can't have a beer together. Play some beer pong. That's, run around.
That's why, I don't know if any of you heard any of the talks, podcast things I've been doing recently promoting the event. I am describing the event more as a gaming holiday with friends or family. Like, I love that we're getting so many families starting to attend the events now, bringing their kids along. Like, that's cool. That is the next generation of LAN. But yeah. Anyway, we're not going to fix that tonight. But that's where we're at with it. Again, please don't think we're not trying. It's just really hard to change those mindsets. We've talked early check-in. Area for people to sit, talk, and chill. We usually have one. Right? The only exception to that sometimes is February, but I am quite adamant about protecting areas that aren't just filled with PCs. Lakeside has kind of become that space, although yes, on a Saturday night that gets quite hectic. Last event we had the gallery space upstairs, which was intentionally music free, games free. It had some sofas in there. It had some XP Brew tea in there, board games, Cyberdrax setup in there. That was an intentional chill space that hardly anybody used. So it's really hard to protect those spaces when people aren't using them. But I will always keep areas that don't have LAN in there. However, an area for people to sit and watch sports and movies together, we can't do. That's a pure and simple licensing thing. You may be able to do that sort of thing at home or at private events, but we can't have areas where we have live sports and movies on a projector, because we would have to pay commercial licenses for those. We can't just stick somebody's Netflix account on or Sky Sports account. You have to pay premiums to do those on a commercial basis, and we can't justify doing that. Now, again, we've openly shared the costs with you for the event, but for things like Sky Sports commercial licenses, it's mad money. So when people say, like, can you stick the F1 on a projector, we're just not allowed. Things like streams of esports games, that's a different matter, unless Twitch ever say that can't be done. So that's happened sometimes, yes. But there we are. We don't have the upstairs for February, because again, it's a space thing. We don't technically rent that space for February, but Lakeside will be that sort of casual space. That's where things like the board games will be in the day, but at night, a little bit harder. Yes, there's lots of things we used to do when it was a smaller event in a village hall that we'd get away with, but then we weren't really a business, and it was, again, hobby versus a business that has attention on us these days, and we just can't risk getting fined for that sort of stuff. We all did things when we were younger that bent the rules a little bit. Oh god, we're nearly there, promise. But icebreaker games in person. I want to try this out. Something I'll talk to Bink about, maybe some things in Lakeside that are away from people's desks. Alternative rooms, we're a bit stuck with that. We have the spaces that we have. I know people keep saying about bring back Lakeside as LAN. We just can't justify it because of cost, ultimately. We need to fill the arena. And then we've started doing that in the October events by bringing Fair Isle into use. Lakeside to me is really important to have as that social space. The bar works really, really well in there. The bar has an impact on what we pay the venue as well. The bar does well. The venue don't put our prices up as much. So having that space where people can go and get a drink and get away from their PCs, I will always fight for.
He does. I promise you that now.
The venue don't want to give up Lakeside to be anything else either, because the bar has become more successful in there than it ever was in the main hall. When the bar was in the main hall, you had nowhere you could go and have your drink. Like, you just stood at the bar and then it was back to your desk. So yeah, Lakeside's kind of working in the way that we want it to do, compared to having like 20 people in there as it was towards the end. TCG tournaments, I like the idea of this. Another event is relaunched doing this though, so I don't know if it'll be treading on their feet, but this could be an area to explore. I just don't know enough. I just don't know enough about it to make that happen. So if there are people in the community who would like to work with us to make that happen, who understand that world better, you would think running a tabletop event that we would, but it's not my sort of area. But if there are people that want to advise us and help make that happen, I am definitely open to talking about that with the right people.
I feel like Gunman's knows a card shop near where he lives, and I'm pretty sure he lives relatively close to Kettering. I might be wrong.
Open to have those chats, basically. If it's something that would add a different aspect to the event, but I'm just conscious of the other event doing it. But say we do have that tabletop history anyway, so more than happy to talk to people about TCG stuff. Bring back Beat Saber /VR. We are looking at doing this again. We can technically do it now. We've got the Quest. It's just whether that's then cast over to a screen, because they've made it. Thanks Meta for making it harder to cast the stream to a bigger screen so people can watch it. We could do the Quest stuff and have that available for people to just play on, but I think part of the appeal with Beat Saber was the ability to stand and watch, but you can only wireless cast now to the Quest, or we rock out the really, really old unsupported hardware to try and make it happen, if it even still works, which I doubt. So we are looking at that. It's just Meta in their wisdom have made it harder to capture the video and the audio without relying on Wi-Fi, which is trash in Lakeside, basically. However, I do want to bring back the Donkey Konger. I had this conversation in the office earlier this week, and these two looked at me like I was mad. I spoke to my mother to find out if she'd got rid of my old Donkey Konger set, and apparently she has, and I'm livid. But as a retro thing, we want to try and get a Donkey Konger set back. Somebody brought their own to the event. Was it Magna Lynx that brought theirs last year, or year before, and had it as a mini fun tournament? I just want that back in Lakeside again. We used to have that at the old Cluck days, and it was my set, and I gave it to my mother. She was a childminder. She used it with the kids she was looking after. Messaged this week, because she's retired now, and said, "Can I have my Donkey Konger back?" And she said, "No, I think I got rid of it." Livid. So we're going to try and get a set basically as a permanent set back in Lakeside, because that was cool. Wrecks your fingers though if you've not played it. So that was that. What else is on the workshop education stage content? Touch this, doing this anyway. More online games, in-person meetups. This is outside of event stuff. I think you can probably see that we're doing that already. So I had a massive schedule of stuff that I put on throughout Christmas. Again, part of me getting closer to the community again. We have a load of meetups scheduled throughout the year. If you don't know, we're doing an Alton Towers meetup, a Thought Park meetup, and a trip to go and see Avenue Q in London. The dates are already set for those. We'll start the practicalities of those soon, but we've got those in the diary now, not doing them all last minute. And as staff, in addition to what the community team will do, we've got a rota between the six of us to put monthly community nights on as well. So 28th of January, Dan's doing a raid night on Scum, which we've been playing recently, and it'll be different games every month. Share feedback scores and statistics. We've done that. There you go. Cool. We're going to do more of this in the future. Easy. Communicate ticket sales better. It's on the front page of the website. There's literally a live ticket count on the front page of the website. We don't hide it. It's literally go to EPIC.LAN.co.uk. It says how many tickets are remaining. I don't know how we can be more transparent about that. Other events don't do that. It's right there on the website. And when they start running out, Sam tweets relentlessly about it to say how many tickets are left. And we spam it in Discord. I don't know how we can communicate ticket sales better. I don't know. Seek feedback on things people might enjoy at the event. Hey, look what we're doing. This is why we are here. But when the community team and other teams do their feedback sessions, or we send out surveys, do your part, please. Fill them in so that we've got your feedback so we can do something with it. Because hopefully, as you've seen from tonight, we do. More streams between the events to talk about what's coming and to get feedback.
Here we are.
Competitions to win tickets. Sometimes our sponsors do. They get an allocation, but they're obviously paying for that allocation. But in general, we don't, because one, the events almost sell out every time, and it comes back to my discount point. If we give away more tickets, that's effectively a big discount. To then bring in the same amount of income, we have to put a price up somewhere else. That's why we don't go big on ticket giveaways and discounts. We don't actually have that many tickets left by the time we get to the events, because we pretty much sell out most of the time. And random last one, where can I eat my takeaway at Lux and Tabletop? You can't eat it in the public areas of the Lux and Tabletop venue. You cannot eat your takeaway in the restaurant or reception areas. You can eat it in the room where we do tabletop, or you can eat it in your hotel room. If you eat it out in the restaurant or bar or reception area, you will get told off because it is their own restaurant. It's like taking your own takeaway into any other restaurant and just sitting there and munching it. You'll probably get told off. Please do support the venues wherever we're at for their own catering, bars, etc. Because if you don't, our rental prices go up, therefore your ticket prices go up. There you go. That was that. We got there. Right, that's what our calendar for the year looks like. Told you there was lots of stuff going on, not just 3 events a year. That is everything in there. That's theme park trips, theatre trips, tabletop events. For those who don't know, we do tabletop events. And the tabletop events have a 40-player LAN there as well. So if you want a smaller LAN event where you sort of play casually in a hotel, it's effectively 2 mini Luxes. And we've got the main Lux, which is about 140 people, again, in a hotel in Coventry. Pure casual, but we don't do anything for casuals. We just do 3 casual, dedicated entire events for them as well, as what we build into
that sell out in, what, 3 minutes?
Well, we don't do anything for casuals. Hey, there you go.
Lux is the best.
That is the final slide. I will leave that while we wrap things up. I'm losing my voice now. I appreciate I've spoken a lot. Sorry, you two. You knew I would. But
I said this before we left today.
That's okay.
I was like, you will just talk. But it's been good. I feel like we've shared a lot. We've covered a lot.
I'm really
Do we
great.
want to open the...
Sorry, and
I'm genuinely grateful that more than 5 people have turned up, and there's a good number of people chatting in Twitch chat. So thank you. I guess everyone that's turned up, whether you've just sat and listened and lurked and boosted the numbers, or you've interacted in the chat, or you've sent in questions, or you filled out the survey for us to have things to talk about. It is appreciated. Hopefully you will appreciate the honesty and transparency from us as well. We will continue to do this because it has been useful. We will have a dedicated esports session. We will have some other dedicated sessions over the coming months. If the demand is there for us to do this and you're going to support it, we'll keep doing it.
Sausage and bean melt.
Greg's sponsor. I'd love a Greg sponsor. Greg's has sponsored, as far as I know, 1 esports tournament in the UK ever, which was a university thing in York. They managed to get a Greg sponsor.
Well, let's get on it. It's that easy. We'll be fine. We'll get a Greg sponsor.
Just get more
Yeah,
sponsors.
just get the sponsorship.
Just get sponsors.
Yeah, just get more sponsors. It's fine.
It's
But no, I feel like
pet hate friend.
thanks to everyone for sticking about and listening to John and us ramble. But hopefully there's been some understanding that we're trying to do more to fulfill everyone's needs and make it a a better environment every event.
Do we want to open the floor for any last comments or questions? I know there's a couple of people that were waiting until the end for to ask stuff.
Knock yourselves out. I've got Twitch chat open. I am reading. Shall we let's go to our full cam. What happens if I press this one? Woo. There we go. You get to see all of our faces. Any plans for Epic 50? Could I get there yet? It's a year away. It's this time next year. In our heads, we all know that we need to do something different and bigger, and a bit like we did for the 20th
40.
birthday stuff, and which Epic 40, 10 years at the venue, and all of that. We want to. I just don't know what yet because it is so far out. Why are we not using the new graphics pack? I probably don't have it. More community finals on stage. It's scheduling. We had a look at the. There's basically lots of things that want to be on stage, so we had a look through the schedule to see what lines up, and the ones that we have on stage are the only ones that fit. And some of them don't make sense to be on stage because of the type of game that they are as well. That's why.
50's next February.
Yeah, that's my point. It's still a year away.
No. So much could change.
We will do something, but I just don't know what.
We could have a successful shuttle bus at this point.
Can we have more flight cases? I'm not allowed. I've hit my allocation.
No, we do need a couple more for the televisions.
I'm dreading both Epic 67 and Epic 69, but I'm sure that the 6-7 meme will be dead by the time we get to it. I hope.
It will be.
If we're not.
Stage content, maybe a quick outline of what the show is for the timetable. Yes. I was going to talk to Sam about this actually. So the news post that we put out with the stage timetable on, this is kind of on me, sorry. I was meant to write a little synopsis of each show to go on that news post, so I will do that because I know what they all are. One of the things with the new website design that we're hoping to have is like little modal pop-ups for things on the timetable. So at the moment, the website just doesn't support that at all, but with the new website design, you will be able to click on things and you'll get the little... That's what this segment is about for both stage timetable and for community tournaments, fun tournaments, etc. But yes, I will write those synopses over the coming days. No, I won't, because I'm off tomorrow and Monday. I'm using my birthday leave. But next week I will do that, Dave. I had every intention to. It's entirely my fault for that one. I know what they are though. Not even told production what half of them are yet.
Epic 50 will hopefully not be at a different venue.
Who said
let's
that?
keep it at Kettering. The Roos. Will Epic 50 be at a different venue?
No.
I hope not.
We've already got the dates in with Kettering for 2027. What? Tell you what? You were in the meeting, Matt. You know what half the stage shows are as well. You were there. Should put it in the NEC.
Sorry, Matt can write the synopsis then.
I think I worked out what we'd have to charge once. Just out of interest, I think I did a pure maths thing for what EPIC.LAN would have to charge to be an NEC event, and it was at least 4 times more on ticket sales. Because again, we're a LAN, not an expo, so we don't have the expo costs that propped up the likes of Insomnia. Or didn't, as the case may be. Yeah. Old Insomnia. I'm talking old Insomnia, not new Insomnia. Are there any ETA on the food menu? Nearly there?
I'm just waiting, mate, for them to be sent to me.
We know all the caterers, just not their menus. Right?
I know the caterers just haven't got their menus yet. So I will update that. As soon as I get the information through, I'll do it. But yeah, so the caterers are confirmed. If you'd like me to tell you them, I can tell you the caterers now. As a little secret heads up. Bear with me a sec.
While you do that, are drink vouchers back? In what sense? Like free drinks? That's only when there's a sponsor, ultimately, and we don't currently have a sponsor that is giving you free drinks. Or any chance of special effect return? I'd love special effect to come back to the events again. They haven't had a physical presence there in a while. Again, whether it's timing or schedule, I don't know. My original contact there isn't there anymore, but I can try and reach out to some others. So, interesting thing with February, by the way, we don't land on Game Blast weekend. We're a week out this time, so we've gone out of sync with Game Blast. So we're just trying to work out what to do there. We still kind of want to do some light fundraising, but it's a lot harder without it being on the Game Blast weekend. But we kind of miss not doing February special effect stuff. We won't have the raffle like we would have had traditionally, and obviously, needless to say, in case it wasn't obvious from the very start of this, we won't have the Intel raffle attached to the championship either, because I don't just have somebody to give away a laptop or PC bundle. We will still have the championship. It will just not be the Intel Community Championship. It will be the EPIC Community Championship. There will still be a belt. There will still be that mechanism for it. It will be it'll just be the EPIC Championship, as it was before Intel. We had the belt before it was an Intel thing, so it will just revert back to that. But at the moment, there won't be like the prize bundle for that as well, until I manage to fix or help or sort commercial side. Sorry, dumb question. How do people get their setups from the hotel car to the leisure centre? The car park is right by the venue. It's not like the NEC where you're miles away and there's a shuttle bus. It's like literally have a look at Google Maps and look at the venue, and the car park literally surrounds it. So people literally
It's outside the door.
Carry it in. We don't have trolleys for people to use, but it's right there. People use their chairs, they carry it, etc. But yeah, it is not as far as other events are from the car park. Don't worry, way easier. Sorry, Terry. Did that buy you enough time, filler time, to get the menu or the caterers out?
It was right in front of me the whole time. I had it open, but it's fine. Yeah, I've got it here. 1 second, let me just save that. So yeah, we've got Well Nice Food are back, which if any of you remember, they did fish and chips. We've got our food barn there for the whole event. Number 13 Coffee are on site again doing their coffee stuff. We have the ice cream van. We also have Cam's Kitchen back. I don't know what cuisine they're doing yet. That'll either be Chinese or Indian. We have the Greekery back again. I think they were last with us last summer, maybe. I think, I can't remember. But the Greekery are really good. We have Sugar Biscuit Bakery with us for the weekend, doing their little cakes and sausage rolls and stuff, cookies. We've got the Hog Roast. We've got Nola Lucia's Pizza. And that's it.
And the sandwiches.
So there's a nice selection there.
Through
the shop, Epic Shop, doing our meal deal stuff, along with all the other little snacks and stuff we can get.
No cacks.
No
it's not
cacks.
the same. Sorry, Terry.
That was the barbecue kitchen. They're not returning for this event. The Greekery did. Is it gyros? Is that how you say it? Before I just get completely mugged off.
Gyros?
Yeah, them. Hang on a second. I think that's the only one I actually have the menu for. But the Greekery were really good. Really, really good food. I don't remember if they actually did sell out or not. I can't remember last event. But this one, the one I'm looking forward to the most. Oh, they're doing Slovakia. Oh, I can't pronounce that. I'm just going to put it in the chat.
Slovakian food. Oh no.
Souvlaki. Gyros is the best way of saying it, says Tex.
Okay,
I prefer Terry saying gyros, though.
I can't read.
It's Guy Ross, mate.
Welcome to the party, Gems.
It's all Greek to me.
And we also have handmade spanakopita.
Will the zombie
Spanakopita.
shooting
You know what
thing
that
be
is?
returning? No, because that was an Intel activation that they paid an absolute fortune to put on, and Intel are not there anymore. I know how much
Yeah.
Intel paid to make that happen, and it was very, very cool. Lovely thing to have at the event, but it was absolutely not cheap, and so we don't have Intel anymore. So.
It was terrifying.
Pretty sad. But yeah, that's it for catering. And I'll release menus and stuff when I get them. So hopefully by the next week, we'll have all the food menus up.
We are generally way further ahead with everything this event, like prep, announcing. I know I'm probably jinxing it by saying that, but hopefully you're all seeing announcements are coming out way earlier. We've got lots more queued up as well, just to tease and excite over the coming weeks. But I think we're all super hyped about this, despite the challenges. I hope you can all see that. Yes, okay, it's going to be financially tight, but it's not killed our enthusiasm in the slightest. In fact, I don't know about you two. I'm speaking on behalf of me personally, but I've come back like super hyped and refreshed in January, and like all not a kick up the arse, but like it's the change of the sponsorship scenarios made us rethink everything, and like let's get it right without, if that makes sense. Just make it a really fucking cool event, and the rest will fall into place after later in the year.
Yeah, I'm really excited for not only 47, but for the rest of 2026. I think we have some pretty cool stuff planned that we've maybe not done before. So
when have we ever been this organised? Just to throw that back up again, like I don't know what it was. Like December, I had this sudden burst of let's just like plan the year out, and yeah.
It's going to be a busy one, but it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to this year. I'll come back from Christmas, and it's like the first 2 weeks of being back, I feel like we've achieved quite a lot in a very short space of time.
So I'm having tomorrow off.
I'm shattered. I might have it at this rate. I'm already late for bed.
Past your bedtime.
It is. But no, yeah, I think February should definitely be a good way to catch up with everyone after Christmas and New Year and stuff, and yeah, just start getting ready for the rest of the year for LAN. But make sure you come to Lux as well, please. Lux is good. Come to Lux.
We don't need to push Lux. Lux will sell within 7 minutes.
Yeah, but there's some people might want to go more than others. Just come to Lux. Let me know if you want me to hold a ticket for you. I'll hold a ticket.
Terry does not have.
You can't do that.
Terry does not have that sort of authority.
I just put one to the side. It's fine.
But John does, so like put it in the support ticket.
We are still. Yes, OT. We're still chatting. We're trying to wrap up, but we're failing at that right now. We're enjoying chatting with you all. Like while people are chatting, like it's nice. Hold a ticket, chair, PC, and mini fridge for me. No.
Yeah, I'll leave it in my car, mate. Like all the other stuff I've got for you. It's just sitting there.
We'll leave it at the side of the A14.
Yeah.
You can go get it yourself.
Fly tipping's bad, Sam. Don't promote fly tipping.
You can have the Tiguan, mate. That's not a problem. Come and get it. You'd be doing me a favour.
Right. I feel like comments are drying up a little bit now. As soon as I've got the esports stream dates, because I have some esports questions have popped up, so I think there is the demand for that one. I'll talk to Gump and Geo and get that sorted. But I think for now that is everything. So I will try and cleanly end the stream. I just keep reading chat. But yeah, thank you two for being a part of this. Thank you everybody in chat for interacting. Other team members who've dropped in here and there as well to contribute. Please do support the current UK's biggest community LAN party, and make sure by the end of the year it's still the UK's biggest LAN, because I think we can do it. Despite our involvement in the other event, let's make sure it's still epic at the end of the year. And that's where we need all of you. Help us out. Spread the word. Get more people coming to LAN. Link us up with any contacts that you've got for exhibitors, sponsors, partners. There's only a team of 6 of us in the office. and plenty of volunteers who will do their part as well, but we're a small team, so anything you can all do to help us keep going, then it is always appreciated. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank
What's
you.
left of it all, and
Thanks,
see
everyone.
you all at LAN.
Thanks to John for carrying this meeting. Stream.
Spelled
I'm
like
so used to doing meetings now.
To be fair, it's like all of our meetings where it's just me talking constantly and you lot having to listen. Nothing.
Yeah,
'Cause you get
I've
it
got a
right.
headache.
Bye.
John comes up. Bye, everybody.